Check 1 2 1 2. Check. Saying it's not getting any input. I just got a notice on Discord saying it's not working. So I need to check my settings. Is it? It should be detecting it now, right? Hopefully. Hey Jago! Hi! Welcome, can you hear me? Okay. Let me check my levels. Can you hear me okay? It's been so King. Oh, working. I was wondering what it said. Oh, you're trying to censor yourself or something. It's working. Okay, give me 1 sec. Okay, that should be better. Yeah, I don't like the YouTube app in general. I don't like it because I feel like it's missing basic features. And my voice might crack a lot today. I'm kind of losing my voice. So 1 sec, please excuse me. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear the Tears of the Kingdom theme? Hi J2 Blue. Can you hear the music that I'm playing there? Can you hear this lo-fi Final Fantasy VII? Can you hear it? I hope so. This is a really good mix that I found. It's a bit loud. Don't worry, I'm going to turn it down. Yeah, it's loud because I wasn't here. That's why I turned it up. Because I wasn't here. But don't worry, we're going to start now. Let me just make sure I have... I always forget to do this, to have a window open for the actual chat. Well, not that I can see the chat. Way louder than me. Yeah, don't worry. It's not going to stay like that. It's louder than me because I turned it up whilst I stepped out. The lo-fi's are kind of loud. Do you like it though? It's way louder than me. Yeah, I've turned it down now. I had it louder because because I stepped out. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. Louder than me. And now it's not. I reduced it. Reduced. Okay. I'm just going to open up this. And just check the stream quickly. I'll open up the chat. I'm going to try and pop out the chat. I need to pop out. Pop out chat. Okay, please hit the like button. Okay, here we go. Hello everyone and welcome to another live show. I hope everyone can hear me okay. I've got the Discord showing. Hide it. Okay. I thought today I'd try something a bit different and found this really good Final Fantasy VII lo-fi that I've been enjoying. So I thought we had enough of that earshot. So yeah, the Wii music. Let me just have something a bit more chill. So there's some really good mixes on here. So I really like that. Let's see. I have to look on here to see the chat. It's loud. It's loud at the moment, yeah. But I'm gonna turn it down now. My voice is extra croakier than normal, just because it is. So I have some strepsils here, and my medication, my sprays and my gels and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try and get through it as best we can. But oh boy, we got a lot to talk about because we actually had a busy news week this week, unlike the previous weeks. So busy, in fact, we did not have any room for any B tier topics. Well, we don't have room for those anyway. But just especially not this week. No B tier topic like Kirby. Not this week. No. We only S tier topics on this show. Like roasting Square Enix. Very important topic. You know, I said before, I don't know for those of you who joined me at the pre-show, I was so close to tweeting out about, because Yoshi P was obviously presenting the Final Fantasy 16 State of Play yesterday. I was so close to tweeting out something, a comparison between him and Kiryu-san, and saying these two men the same age. I think one of them's been working a bit too hard. The other one's a crypto boy. So there you go. I didn't, and I could have just. I was thinking now maybe I should just tweet about no context. It was like no context. Hashtag Square Enix, and then you got to come to my show so you can in on the inside joke. I was thinking that. So anyway, we got to the final trailer for The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. We got more Final Fantasy 16 gameplay. The game looks very, very, very good. I will say that. Did they need to show as much as they needed to? It's like so many of the bosses, and like I know it's not all the bosses now. Like, good lord, they kind of spot her. So for that reason, I'm actually just gonna share the PlayStation blog. I'm not gonna show the actual gameplay on the stream, so you don't need to worry. I'm not gonna actually show it. We're just gonna look at the PlayStation blog about it, because I think some people would be like, yo, I didn't want to watch that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not actually gonna show it. We're just gonna look at the PlayStation blog about it. Okay. We've got a Famitsu sales. I was hoping that the Media Create monthly sales would be here, but they haven't been shared. Well, we have been getting them via Nintendo Dream, but they seem not to do it this month, and maybe they're just not going to do it anymore. So that's how we was getting some additional sales information, but it seems like maybe it's not the case anymore, which is unfortunate. So we're going to take a look at the regular Famitsu sales, which we do have those, even if we don't have the monthly sales. Right, let's quickly say hello to everybody who's here. Look, you can see I'm organised. I have all the things organised. Look, KR would be very proud of me. I have the bookmarks, all bookmarks, and I still can't find stuff. Which is the... Oh, I don't need this open, I guess. I don't need these. Oh, here we go. Welcome, Jago. iOS sucks, I know. It does. J2 Blue, welcome. Tears of the Kingdom theme was went through my head. We could play that one. That one's okay. Jago says, I'll have to keep the volume low since I'm playing Last of Us 2. No problem. Although, Jago, I do not believe that is your first time playing the game. So, for 1 second, I do not believe it's your first time ever playing that game. So, if you miss a little bit, it doesn't matter. It's not that bad. Vinnie Mac, we can hear you. Hi, Vinnie Mac, welcome. I'm glad you could hear some of the lo-fi, which we'll be playing from now on. Not that we won't go back to the eShop music, but I like the lo-fi. B plus tier. Listen, even if Kirby was B plus tier, which is not. Kirby is not, right? As a franchise, it's not B plus. It's just flat B. I still haven't got time for it this week. There's not going to be a super long show this week because I'm especially not feeling too great. Like, I'm losing my voice. I don't know how long I'll be able to talk for. So let's shade off a bit too much. I bought it. I bought it at Christmas. It was £8. Not really. I guess it would be that cheap because it was it was on the God, that game was how many years ago now? When did that game come out again? 2019. When did Last of Us Part 2 come out? I want to say 2019. It was 2020. And it came out the same year as the PlayStation 5, so it must have been. No, sorry. No, it was 2019, right? Oh God, I can't remember. Almost 3 years, so it was 2020. June 2020. That makes sense. Yeah, it was just obviously the PlayStation 5 released in that holiday. Yeah, 2020. I don't know. I thought 2019. The reason I thought 2019 is I'm like, oh, it wasn't. It was on PlayStation 4, not 5. But then yeah, obviously the console came out at the end of the year, the same year. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So you can get it super cheap now. Oh, okay. I'll have to see if I can get it, but I haven't played the first game, so yeah. Right. Okay, welcome everyone. Please hit the like button. Let's get started. So I've got we've got install base open here. Oh, did I tell you about the bet I have with Keycare? Keycare, I told him to put his install base box where his mouth is, and I just realised this. You can do personal bets with install base bucks on install base. So I made a bet with him because he thinks that Final Fantasy 16 will open below 100k in Japan, and not even I, who is quite pessimistic about the sales, not even I think it's going to open that low. I feel like that's like virtually impossible for that to happen. But no, he's been insisting it. So I'm like, okay, you put your install base box where your mouth is then. So that's why I made the bet. You can make it on here. And if you go into here, I looked at it and I realised, oh, you can make bets. You can make your own bets. How did I work it out again? I think I was just looking at it. And where did it go? It's this bit here, right? Oh no, but these are not bets. These are predictions. No. Oh, where's that section again? Well, look, trust me, there is. Okay, where's this? Official bets here. Official betting. So I looked here. Where did I find it? Oh, I can't remember now. Is it right here? Oh yeah, look, then it says wages you bet and wages you place, bets you created. I was like, well, hang on, bets you create? What does it mean, bets you create? Bets you challenged. It's like you can challenge and put your own one on here. So I made my own one. Kike, he accepted. I made this one. Final Fantasy 16 first week sales in Japan. Now I wasn't sure exactly how it works. I was like, Kike, you do the wording, and he didn't do it. So I was like, okay, I'll write it as if he wrote it. So it's Final Fantasy 16 first week sales in Japan will sell less than. Oh look, I didn't even put the word. Oh my god, look what I did. will. I haven't even written this properly. Oh my god. Kike, look, you can see I'm not rigging the bet. What I've written? What the hell? Where's the description part? I've written it badly. Oh, it's gone. How do I? Oh no. Look what I did. Oh, I guess you can't change the wording after. Oh well. Kike, you know what I mean. I made a typo. But anyway, I made a typo. Get ready to lose, Kike. So yeah. The wording, I messed it up. Will less than, oh my god. I meant will open with less than 100. Anyway, you understand what it means. I'm always making typos and only seeing them afterwards, for God's sake. Yeah, so you can make personal bets. You can bet people in store-based bucks. So yeah, did that one. It's challenge bets. Anyway, I got distracted. I was talking about that. Right, we got the Famitsu sales to go over. There was no new releases, so I'm afraid it's a bit of a more of a subdued week than usual, because there was literally no. I don't think there was any, not even like any little visual novels or anything. I think it was nothing. There was no new releases, but some very interesting stuff going on with the hardware, so we can talk about that. Now I'm going to try and save my voice quickly. 1 second. Yeah, Final Fantasy 7, Persona 5 Royal, Last of Us 2. Tsushima, Miles Morales. It was all in 20. Was Miles Morales also in 2020? I guess it was. It came out with the PlayStation 5. So I guess it was the same, yeah. Again, always think of it like differently, because it feels because the PS4 and the PS5, it feels so long ago. So it's hard to think of that it actually it was the same calendar year, right? Because you think, because like it's, you know, the separation of the generations. Although I guess it was cross-gen, it was like cross-gen games, but yeah, it's just funny to think back of it, because it feels like so like completely separate. But I guess it's not really. Okay. Okay. So Famitsu software sales. We're gonna go over the top 10 and look at the top 30 a little bit. So moving back into number 1. In fact, I think Kirby went up last week. So this is. Didn't it go back up again last week, or did it just go up again this week? I think it went up again last week. Oh, I don't even know. Oh my god. Did it? Did it or not? I don't know. I can't remember. I need to see. I can't remember. What was Resident Evil 4 number 1 last week, or was it Kirby? I'm pretty sure it was Kirby, right? I literally can't remember. Wait, hang on, let me go to the. No, this is this week. I need to see the one before. Okay, so yeah, it was not. It moved up last week, and then the week before that. Okay, the week before that was the week that Resident Evil 4 and Atelier Ryza 3 launched. So they were. Okay, so it's two weeks ago that Resident Evil 4 launched. Okay, I forgot. Yeah, so Kirby went up again last week. PS4, yeah, something interesting happened with the PS4 and PS5 versions of the game. You can see here, the sell-through bar's not really relevant since we're outside of the initial week, but yeah, they kind of, obviously had sold through. Yeah, but the PlayStation 4 version is actually sold more this week. Sorry, I skipped over Kirby because Kirby's beating. That's why I skipped over it. No, I'm joking. So yeah, Kirby's number 1 with 16.4 thousand. Number 2 is the PS4 version of Resident Evil 4. Now, yeah, as I was saying, that's 11.4 thousand this week, right? So it sold more than the PlayStation 5 version, which is here, and number 6 with 8.3 thousand. But it's interesting because the totals are actually getting really close. So the PlayStation 4 version now has 113.4 thousand total, whereas the PlayStation 5 version has 116.4 thousand. So it's only 3,000 difference, but what's happening is that the PlayStation 4 version has longer legs. So next week, I believe the PlayStation 4 version will overtake the PS5 version, which is interesting because, like, I think maybe, a lot of people, a lot of us, I think, like, in the sales community in general, had maybe thought we were getting to the point in Japan where the PlayStation 5 versions would always sell more, but that's not the case. We've had a couple, 2 or 3 titles maybe, where the PlayStation 5 version has sold better. I'm not including the bundled ones, but they're just where they just straight up sold more. And usually the PlayStation 4 versions would have longer legs, but because the PS4 and PS5 versions were so close, I thought maybe it's possible that the PS5 version could have longer legs, but obviously that's not what's going to happen. And I mean, you can still understand it because there's way more PlayStation 4s than 5s, but you have to look at that at this point that a lot of those consoles are going to be inactive, so you can't really look at the whole thing and say, well, there's 9 million, so there's 9 million people that are, it obviously doesn't work like that when it comes to just gradually over time. It happens with every console, obviously. So, and I thought because some of the people there's some people that have transitioned very recently with the influx of PlayStation 5 we had at the beginning of the year, so that maybe that would have a knock-on effect, but it looks like that hasn't happened, not yet anyway, and not for this for a big title like Resident Evil 4, which is obviously has a bigger budget than let's say, for example, an old ass Wii port like Kirby Return to Dreamland. Obviously Resident Evil 4 remake had a way bigger budget than that, so it's for a title like that, you can understand why Capcom insisted on a PlayStation 4 version of this game, because this would have been trouble in Japan in particular if they hadn't have done. As you can see quite clearly, they need it for Japan. Now you can say whether these certain publishers care or not about the sales in Japan, and I think Capcom obviously does. I think it was just a Western consideration. I don't know that they would have done this PS4 version. Well, maybe they would have done because there's still well over 100 million PlayStation 4s, right? So, and at this time, there's about 30 odd million. I'm not sure the exact number. It's over 30 million PlayStation 5s. Obviously, it's not, it's nowhere near as many. So yeah. So number 3, we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That sold almost 10,000 this week. Number 4, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, 9.8 thousand. Number 5, Splatoon 3, 8.7 thousand. And then here at number 6 is the PlayStation 5 version of Resident Evil 4. Number 7 is Minecraft with 7.7 thousand. Number 8 is oh my god, what number? Number 8. Number 8 is Nintendo Switch Sports with 5.5 thousand. Number 9 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate 9.9 thousand, and number 10 is Mario Party Superstars with 4,000. Now, the new release last week was Winning Post 10, which I didn't realize this was kind of like an annualized thing because of the numbers, right? But I think they do different or updated versions of each numbered entry. So I didn't realize that. So I couldn't, like, the sales history was a bit murky to me when I tried to look it up because there was so many different ones. I'm like, oh, what am I comparing? But I do hear that the sales have improved on the previous entry. So if we look at the previous one, basically there were just the 2 SKUs, which is a Switch and a PS4 version. Now this time there's a Switch, PS5 and PS4, and instead of like just completely eating in the sales, it feels like the PlayStation 5 has added a few more sales on. So this game's done a little bit better actually. Ring Post 10, I guess horse racing is popular. Someone said that, is horse racing popular in Japan? I guess so. I feel like it's, popular. I feel like it's popular here, quite unquote. It's popular in the UK as well, in the sense of that a lot of it happens, and there's betting shops everywhere. So somebody's doing it, and they have to, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of like Royal Ascot and everything. That thing they have every year, Royal Ascot. The horse racing event thing, which is it's just a whole excuse for a whole bunch of rich people to dress up. Royal Ascot. Yeah. So anyway, Roche. No, it's a remaster. Okay, there you go. Look, it's been remastered, yes, but it's still an old ass Wii game. It's from the Wii. Okay, so there you go. Come on. Rachel, you said also Kirby is an external B tier for Nintendo since I don't 100% own it. Okay, so when we eventually do this, because people have been asking for a tier list, right? Because I may have said on Twitter, I admitted what? What did I admit? Jago, I never said it wasn't a remaster. It's basically, what's the difference between a remaster and a port? Obviously, it's not a completely straight port. You can't just completely straight port it from the Wii. We're doing nothing. They obviously did stuff to it, right? So they've upped the resolution a bit. It's more than a port. But all they did was add that Magalore thing. All they did was add the Magalore. Jago, it's not a new game. You know what I mean? It's not a new game. Okay, it's not. It's almost the same game. Oh, I'm getting into this again. New content equals remake? Do you mean remake? New original content no. Okay, so now you're going too far. You've gone too far, Rose. You can't be saying that Kirby Return to Dreamland is not a remake. You lot are wilding. You're absolutely wilding. It's not a remake. Absolutely goddamn lost your minds. It's not a remake. I'm gonna start calling old ass Wii port again. Oh my god, fathers. I've completely lost my train of thought. I need to take this Strepsil. I can tell you more things, but that'll make it more than a port, but that's too long for live chat. Okay. All I saw was some Magalore content. If you think about it, original Final Fantasy VII if you think about it, Final Fantasy VII Remake is a downgrade since it doesn't have all the original Final Fantasy content and more. Well, to be fair, I mean, they've made they're making 2 other games. So we have to wait and see what's in those games. And it doesn't 100% follow the original story, is my understanding. I haven't played it. Has a brand new art style. What does? Do you mean Final Fantasy VII, or do you mean well, Final Fantasy VII does, yeah, but we're talking about Kirby. Anyway, for the purposes of this, people keep wanting me to do this tier list because that's, oh my god, it's not a tier. I feel like a tier list is kind of like subjective, and what I'm talking about is not. I don't feel like Kirby is I'm not talking about the quality of the game, by the way, or the quality of the franchise. I really like Kirby, but it's not an S tier Nintendo franchise. It just isn't. This is not even. I don't even feel like this is like. I don't feel this is subjective. Kirby is not. It's not at the top with Mario and Zelda and Pokemon. And for the purposes of this discussion, I'm gonna regard external stuff like or partially owned like Kirby and Pokemon as just all Nintendo first party. I think it's the best way of doing it. There's a tier between B and S, A tier, yeah. So, for example, I would say that Luigi's Mansion is now an A tier Nintendo franchise. Why? Because you have the Luigi's Mansion 3 sold 10 million. It sold like 10 million. Do you know how much Final Fantasy 7 Remake sold? Because it wasn't 10 million. It was not 10 million. The only update we had, the last we heard was it sold 5 million. We didn't have any other update other than that. So officially it sold 5 million. Maybe it's over that now. Maybe it's like 6 or 7 million. But Square Enix has never told us. So that's why I'd put Luigi's Mansion at being an A tier. I'd say it's A tier. And I'll put Kirby at B. Okay, August 2020 it was 5.5 million for Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Okay. Luigi's Mansion 3 sold almost twice that. That's why it's A tier. No update. Yes, it's the only thing that's really curious. That you're thinking it must have sold way more than that since 2020. It didn't stop selling. Why has there never been an update for that? And since then, or since it released, it's on PC. How much did it sell on PC? It's both. It's on Steam and Epic, right? So why do we never get it? Yeah, no, it didn't. It's not. Yeah, no, it's not twice as much as that. Because we definitely would have heard it. Yeah, we sure would have heard if it sold 11 million. Because if it had sold 11 million, then it would have outsold Final Fantasy 15, which they told us it was 10 million recently. No. Square Enix would have been shouting that from the rooftops if that sold 11 million. I can tell you that. Oh, welcome. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Johannes. Please I apologise if I've said your name incorrectly. If you could tell me how to pronounce it. But thank you so much for coming through. Nice to see you. We're talking about Luigi's Mansion 3 sold 11 million. Okay, so it sold a lot more than. So that is why Luigi's Mansion is A tier in my opinion, and Kirby is not. So maybe Forgotten Land will sell. I mean, that could get up to 10 million. Because up until recently, there's no Kirby game. The best-selling Kirby game up until recently was the very first Kirby game on the Game Boy. So what if? Yeah, that's the same. What if it does sell over? If it does sell over 10 million, then we'd have to move Kirby up to A tier. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, what I feel the best thing to do with this tier list, because since so many people want me to do it and they were not happy that I said Kirby's B tier, is that I want to gather all the sales data first. If I just gather all the sales, because if I just do it and just say, oh, well, this is that tier, it's just kind of like, well, you just say it is. No. Let's come on. Let's think about this. We talk about, that's what we do here. It's sales. We're looking at the sales, right? So we're gonna look at it objectively from a sales perspective. We'll make a tier list based on sales. How about that? I think that's a better way of doing things. Wait, so before Breath of the Wild, you would consider? No, because it's relative, isn't it? It's relative. Outside of Zelda, what Nintendo franchise? No, I didn't. Yeah, but I didn't say the threshold was 10 million. The threshold is now 10 million because all the games are selling a lot more than they did like the Wii or GameCube, right? So it's relative. Do you see what I mean, Jago? It's relative. Oh, what else? What? One of those for months. What happened? I want to see somebody subscribe. Oh, let me check. Oh, Johannes. I apologise I can't pronounce your name, so I'm not going to butcher your name. Thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome. Very nice to have you here. Yeah, and do tell me how to pronounce your name. No. So I'm not saying the threshold is 10 million. I'm saying now the threshold is 10 million because everything has gone up. Everything's moved up, if you see what I mean. Right? So before, before Breath of the Wild, what games Nintendo had that sold over? We're talking about that were sold over 10 million anyway. Back in, it would have just been Mario or Mario spin-offs like Mario Kart and then Pokemon. What else sold over 10 million? Not a lot. It would have just been Mario spin-offs, maybe Mario Party, Mario Kart. Yeah, everything else would have been like a smaller thing, or maybe some of the original. Yeah, so the only other thing would be close would be like Animal Crossing. You'd have to look at the DS. The one on the Wii didn't do as well. Yeah, and I'm talking about before, so we're talking about like Wii kind of time. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like the fresh, it's a moving. It's not set in stone, because everything's now sells more. You've got to move the threshold up as well. So now I would consider 10 million to be A tier, because you say, well, we just mentioned 3. Well, I say this can compare it to a completely different game on a completely different platform, one that's not even on Nintendo. That's a AAA game that people are like, oh, that sold a lot. But then you actually look at it relatively, okay, Final Fantasy VII Remake sold 5.5 million. Luigi's Mansion 3 sold 11. So I think we have to put Luigi's Mansion into the A tier. Yes, you see what I mean? I hope you understand. So yeah, it's a moving. The answer is it's a moving threshold. J2. It doesn't stay. So before I wouldn't have had this. Obviously, if we were talking about this like several years back, then it wouldn't have been 10 million, because hardly anything would have got into it. You have to move it, right? So that's the way I'd regard it. So yeah, let's gather the sales data on. Well, because I know none of you are gonna do it. I'll do it. I'll have to do it. So let me gather the sales data, and then we can talk about doing a tier list, okay? An objective tier list. Now, if you want to say Kirby is your favourite, oh, did I? That was a guess. That was a complete guess. What did I say? Uranus? Uranus? Is that right? I'm really. That was just me guessing. So that's. Oh, I'm glad at least I got close. I got close. Thank you for joining us. How did you find my channel, by the way? I'd be interested to know. Okay, so winning. God, I went completely off track there. Winning post 10. I believe had 3 SKUs. So I believe it was the Switch and the. Where's the other one? Okay, so we got a PS5 version. Number 23 sold 1.7 thousand. And we have the PS5 version, and the PS4 version sold number 25 sold 1.6 thousand. Now, as we were talking about Kirby, I mean, there are 2 Kirby games in the top 30 actually. So Forgotten Land is still here, and then we have the Wii port at number 1. Wow. So, yes, I said Wii port. That's right. That's what I said. You heard me correctly. And then the perennial Gran Turismo 7 at number 30. And what else is there? Oh, Super Mario 3. Was this here last week? I feel like it wasn't. Did that just come into the chart or something? Maybe it was there. Let's have a look. I'm looking on one of the best sites. Niche Barrier. No, I don't think it was there last week. Yeah. And you can't even really say this because the Mario movie is not actually out in Japan yet until the end of the month. I think they're doing it to coincide with Golden Week, which makes sense because everyone's going to be off work and school. So yeah. So I think doing really that. I feel like we covered the stuff. Octopath Traveler 2 still holding on. Number 22. That's 1.8, another 1.8 thousand. It's now selling through, as you can see. Atelier Rise of 3 sold another 1.8 thousand. Now I think the other two versions left the chart. Yeah, I think they're gone. Were they there the previous week? Oh yeah, they just PS4 version was here. Yeah, they both they both dropped out. Okay. That went down by 86%? What, to the previous week? I guess this is week 2. Yeah, so they only hung around, oh, good lord. They hung around for one additional week? Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, so a lot of the, especially if it's like a multi-platform game like this, they just don't have legs on PlayStation, sorry to say. Just no legs at all. They're just gone. Now, and I know it's an RPG, and they tend not to have long legs at all. I mean, that's just RPGs in general. But yeah, they kind of tumbled out the chart. That's unfortunate. Okay. So that's that. Look at your comments. Did you make any comments? Let's have a look. Hi Dank. Did I say hi to you, Dank? Or hello? If I didn't say hi to you, hi. Josh Hom. Josh, are you in there as well? Josh, welcome. I don't believe I've seen your name before. Welcome. Square Enix could update sales data for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I wish they would. These 5 million are from August 2020, 4 months after the launch of the first. Okay, so they gave us that sale update before they'd even put it on PC. So we don't even have the PC numbers at all. So that was from before it was on PC. So yeah, it didn't sell nothing on PC. It sold something. So why haven't they told us? Forgotten Land is over 6 million. Is over 6 million now? Kirby's moving up. Kirby's moving up. He's gonna get in. He's gonna get in. You know what he's doing? He's slowly. You know when he takes in air, he's like slowly going whoop whoop whoop, and he's floating up to that 8. He's slowly floating. He's trying to float up before he you know, like he falls down after a while. He's trying to do it before he falls down. Kirby games seem to stay around 1 to 2 million units. Yes, they used to. But they're going up now. Forgotten Land. Forgotten Land. Now, Jago, why are these 3 emojis here? What are those? What's that? What are you trying to say? Those 3 emojis right there. They look like they're talking with hot air coming out of the mouth. What's that? Jago. Thank me, Santa. Oh, you're talking to J2. I'm good, Flo. Just chilling. I'll shall enter discussion with the Scott with. Yes, the map. Oh my god, they actually made a new map. For the thing. Oh my god, I was like, when I said, oh my god, they did it, because it was like kind of like an idea. It's like, well, they've got 3, three idols now representing the team. So it's like they could do the tribe. I mean, they did a Pokemon one. Like they're gonna do a Zelda one, right? It would be a no-brainer. It's like a no-brainer, right? To do a Zelda one, and the Triforce is right there, and they actually did it. It's really cool. Forgotten Land is a great game. I hope they continue to expand upon it. Yeah, I 100% did Forgotten Land. Actually, 100% did it, which is not something I do very often. But I enjoyed it that much that I actually 100% did it. Yeah, really enjoyed that game. Jago, it's not gonna happen, but still playing for DLC for Forgotten. Nah. They never do DLC for. I don't know. Actually, no. Tell a lie. I guess they did it for Star Allies, and all the other Kirby games are like kind of old. Like they're before a time when Nintendo really did DLC. I guess. So I guess Star Allies was the first one where they could have done that. So yeah, Star Allies did have DLC. It was free. They put a load of all the characters and stuff in there. But yeah, I think it's kind of too late when that game came out. So the PC version came out in late 2021. Okay, that's still 2 years ago, right? They've never updated it. It means preach J2 Blue. Oh, what? Because what this? Oh, because what was JT Blue saying? Oh, Forgotten Land. Oh, I see. Yes, JT Blue, look it up. Where can I find it here? Oh my god, they made it. Where is it? They did. Oh wait, no, I need to make a new thing now. Oh god, I need to make a new one. Oh god, you know what? I really hate what they've done here. Splatoon. But they only shared it on the Japanese one, I think. For some reason, only the Japanese one gets all the look at this. Oh my god, I haven't even watched it. Let's watch it together because I haven't actually watched the video. I just saw a clip of it, or I just saw a still of it. Let's watch it. They made a new stage. Wait, is there no sound? Oh, maybe there is no sound. I thought there was sound. Did they share this video with no sound on it? I guess so. But yeah, they made an actual Triforce stage. In 3 parts. Now, if you remember when they did the shifty stations on Splatoon 2, like, once they did them, they were gone. And we didn't get them back again. We didn't get them access to them until, like, all the updates were complete, and the only way to play them is if you play them in private modes. You can just choose the stages from there. Otherwise, they're gone. They're not in like normal like rotation, even now on Splatoon 2. But yeah, they made the whole stage. Did they have any more things for it, or was it just that one? Oh no, this is the Zelda. What? Okay. What? Hang on, I'm looking at the Zelda account. Or maybe I thought I was looking at that. Oh no, they retweeted what the Zelda account retweeted. Was that the only video? Look at this, look! They've made do you know what? I neglected to get the key rings from last time. The key rings you could get for free through my Nintendo, and I forgot to do it, and they all went. Oh my god, these t-shirts are amazing. Look at these t-shirts. Last time I got I only bought one of the t-shirts though, so it was like £20 each, right? So I bought one for the Pokemon one. I bought the water because I was on Team Water. Did we win or did we? I can't remember. I think it won. The last Splatfest, my team lost. What team was I? I was on the chocolate one. I can't remember what it was now. Oh, it's like, yeah, I was on Team Aliens and like, let's see. Oh no, here we go. Here's a bit more. Yeah, it's just like literally a Triforce stage. Looks pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty basic, really, right? When you think about it, there's no. This will make it easier than other maps that they've been. So they didn't make a special map for the Pokemon one. They did not make a special map for the Pokemon one. So yeah, it means we're going to get Splatfest teas as well. This is so cool. I'm so glad they do global Splatfests now. Not like before. Is this the same video? What's the same video? There's no sound in it. I guess they just wanted to put a little thing on there. So yeah, there is a Splatfest. Team War won. Yeah, I was on that team, but the last one I didn't win. Okay, so you're saying Shifty Station is required, is tied to Splatoon 2 for lore reasons. Maybe once side order is complete, they may bring them back. Okay, it's for lore reasons. Now, I played both the DLC and the main campaign, and I don't know what the lore is, why they're tied. I know Pearl and Marina are not. Anyway, we're not going to do spoilers or whatever, but I actually haven't even finished the campaign for Splatoon 3 yet. I'm near the end, but I just got sidetracked by just multiplayer. Let's make this permanent. Well, you know they will not. I doubt they will. They'll do what they did with Shifty Station. You won't get this back. Not until the end, and they'll put it in an update. Team Waterman, yes, as they should. Okay, so now let's look at the hardware. Hardware sales. That's for later. That's for later. That's later. Oh wait, what have I done? was on this is me on I said I was gonna be on pre-order Spike Watch, and I did look at this when I checked it just before I started the pre-show. This is how it looked. Now, Tears of the Kingdom was already at number 1, so obviously it couldn't spike. Although there was other versions of it, because on Amazon there's like multiple SKUs, and some of the SKUs have like a bonus, like they got a spoon as a, like, I don't know why there's a spoon as one of the bonus. Like, it's not even, I say bonus, you've got to pay for it. Those SKUs cost more. It's not the same price. It's like, if they cost more. Hang on, can we see on here? They cost more. It's not like it's free. So this is how it looked. So yeah, Final Fantasy 16 has actually moved up to number 3. And so yeah, there's this, look, why is there's a spoon? Why, look, and it's not free, you've got to pay extra for this. This costs more. And it's a Legend of Zelda spoon. Like, why is there a spoon? Of all the things to have, a spoon. Like, why? This is Amazon has come up with themselves. And here's the thing, so you could buy these different, all these ones, they cost more. See the, yeah, maybe they were selling one with all the amiibo in it at one point. I don't know. Look, they've got like, what's it called? Oh, it's got a fork as well! There's a whole cutlery set! There's a spoon and a fork! Is there a knife? Why is, I don't know, you can't get that one anymore. Why is that? I don't know what made them come up with a cutlery. You know, a plush bokoblin. But yeah, no, but usually these cost more. You have to pay more for these. So 7,900 yen. See, look, this one's 11,440 yen. So it's not like this, it's like a free item. You're paying for that. And these ones are, I guess they're sold out. I guess I don't have those ones. But yeah. So yeah, so anyway, the point I was trying to make, they have all these different SKUs, right? So it's not just that one. There's like multiple. And I saw another SKU of Final Fantasy 16 earlier. Is it still here? Oh yeah, there's a collector's edition as well. Which also has the spoon! The spoon! What the hell? Out of all the things to have, a spoon. See, look, Harry, there's another SKU. Now this, do you know what's wild though? Do you know what this is? What this bonus thing that you're paying extra for? Because look, here's the other one, the one without the thing, which is reduced, by the way. Look, that's 8,091 yen, and this one is just the regular price, 9,900 yen. Do you know what you're paying extra for? It's a bloody PC wallpaper. It's a wallpaper. That's what it is. It's wallpaper. Why would you pay an extra over 1,000 yen? Nearly 2,000 when it comes down to it. Yen for a goddamn wallpaper. Who is buying this SKU? Are they dumb? Why would you pay that money for a wallpaper? It says does it say free? Does it say it's free? Hang on, how did I translate it? How do I translate? Alright, so I've got to do, because I don't have the bloody extension on it. I don't have the extension. I don't think it is free. No, it doesn't say anything about free. It's ridiculous. Why would you pay that amount of money for a wallpaper? Absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know who is buying that SKU. I just don't understand why you would buy this. It's the same thing, but with a wallpaper that you're paying an extra 2,000 yen for. Does that make sense? Who's buying that? It's not like the others use out of stock. Double SKU was out of stock. I was going to tell my people, why are they doing that? Spoon of the Kingdom. Spoon of the Kingdom. Marina makes them and she's not here. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Oh yeah, no, they did say Marina made. Yeah, in the law they said. I almost forgot that. They always said Marina made. Well, what it is? No, I think they used to say, oh, we made an extra. We made this extra stage when they would introduce it, and then Pearl would go, "What? You made the stage? That's amazing." But like, as like, maybe maybe it's just Pearl being dumb and Marina didn't really make them. But I guess she did make. Anyway, I don't know. I don't feel like I was ever fully. Do you know what I found the other day? I found this. I haven't watched it yet. There's over 4-hour video that I found that says it explains all the Splatoon lore from all the games and the DLC and everything. And I'm gonna watch that at some point when I finish the campaign. I'm gonna watch it. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about the. Oh my god! Look how long I'm taking to do this. And don't forget, after you can join me. Anyone that wants to join me can do so. After I've done this hardware, and also I found the window. How about that? Okay. So yeah, I was looking at that, right, and I said, oh, you know, Mega Man Battle Network has obviously moved up, and it's I think it's gonna open up more than you'd expect. I think is what's gonna happen. I think it's gonna open up more than what you'd expect. There's a new Pokemon. What new Pokemon? Is there a new Pokemon? Oh, what's wrong with that anime? Is this Pokemon new? It's far-fetched. Why does it look like that? It's not a regular far-fetched. Okay, no, there isn't. Sorry, I thought it was something exciting. It's not. Anyway, Mousy said like she was like, that's Amazon. I'm more curious about Comic. Mousy's like, no, I don't care about that stupid Amazon. That's irrelevant. I want the real stuff, the real data. No, not that. That's updated hourly. It doesn't count. Or it's not the real meaty. It's not the real meaty data. It's not the meaty stuff. Anyway, let's quickly go into here. Go into the. And do this. I didn't do it yet. The hardware. Okay, hardware is here. So hardware is interesting because the PlayStation 5 actually went up in sales this week compared to last week by a lot. Despite the fact there's no new games or anything, but it went up by a considerable amount. The Switch is down week over week. It's 52,000 this week. Last week it was 56,000. But the PS5, I think that's the interesting one to talk about because of how much it's gone up. So until last week, it had been going down every week, including the week that Resident Evil 4 released, which 2 weeks ago it was at 38,000, and it dropped in the week that Resident Evil 4 came out, which was extremely perplexing. For me, maybe for a lot of people, it's like, well, wouldn't it go up? You'd expect it to rise, but it could be that maybe it would have dropped even lower had it not been for that release, which I think was enough of a release to see some movement in hardware. Well, it feels like it's delayed almost, and like we have it 2 weeks later, but that's odd. Like, why would that happen? So excuse me. Sorry, burping. Why would that happen, especially when the actual software sales is low? Now, if we look at the breakdown, PlayStation 5 out there's 46,000, 39, almost 40,000 of them were the disc version, and 6,000 were the digital version. But then if we look at the software, let's look at the install base one, not that. I'll get back to the thing. Oh my god. Then we've got install base here. the PlayStation 5 software was way down. It's like really low this week. So yeah, so out of 30 titles, 24 of them were Switch for starters. We had stuff like the Atelier games that dropped out of the top 30 as I described before. So I can't really explain why the jump, what would cause the jump, when you'd have thought that this would happen in the week that Resident Evil 4 came out. I'm not sure why it happened this week and not 2 weeks ago. Would be my question. So Resident Evil 4 didn't cause the hardware to go up, but something else did. Now it could be that there was just some more supply this week. So from what I did notice on Amazon, the PlayStation 5 has been pretty high. So I'm gonna take it with a pinch of salt though, because Famitsu actually doesn't even track Amazon. They estimate the sales from Amazon. They don't directly track it, it's my understanding. Media Crate does, which is why it's good to get their sales figures, but we don't have that because we was getting them via Nintendo Dream, and Nintendo Dream has not shared it, so we don't have that. And we'd get all the hardware, but they would only share it for the software and the Nintendo games, which I understand why they were doing that, because like I said, Nintendo publication. But yeah, so now we got nothing. So that was better than nothing, and now we have nothing. So yeah, what I did notice was that the PlayStation 5 was pretty high all of last week on this. So what even though Famitsu does not directly track Amazon, it gives you like a little what was the right word? A little gauge, a little kind of feeler for what it's going to be, even though it doesn't completely reflect what's going on. Because you see, well, Final Fantasy 16 is at number 3 here, but it's like super low on the Comeg and all the other, not just Comeg, Geo and Tsutaya, and there's another one as well where it's low. The pre-orders are low compared to previous Final Fantasies, right? Compared to previous Final Fantasies. So it doesn't give 100%, but I feel like it gives a little insight. So yeah, PlayStation 5, this is the disc version right here. And if we look, this helps. So what I noticed here is that it's completely available with no, what do you call it? There's no lottery. So the regular disc version is completely available without no lottery. Now we can look at the other ones. So the digital version is still request invitation, which means the lottery, right? The Horizon bundle is lottery. The Horizon Digital is lottery. The Gran Turismo is available. Gran Turismo with the disc is available. You can just put it in your cart. And I have put in what I always do is put in a Japanese postcode to because if I just log in, it's got my location, which is in the UK. I guess they have a certain number allocated that they will send overseas or whatever. So it's probably the same for every Amazon, where they will send them out to like domestically. It's cheaper as well before they have stuff allocated to abroad. So always put in, if you're gonna check, always make sure you put in a Japanese postcode, and you can just use this 601 8501. I always use that one because I do not know any addresses in Japan, and yeah, this one. So do you know where this is? It's actually a real place. I didn't make it up. I had to look up somewhere. You can look that up if you're curious and see where is that. Just type in 601 8501. You'll find out. It's a little Easter egg for you. Okay, so yeah, so the Gran Turismo. This is the Gran Turismo with the disc. The digital one. Let's have a look. That one's invitation. So we have 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2. Was it one in Horizon ones as well? No, hang on. Okay, so 2 out of 6 SKUs are you can just buy straight up on Amazon. You can just buy it, put it in your cart, got it. That's what I noticed. I was like, okay, so you can just freely buy it on Amazon, whereas up until like you for the past couple of weeks you had been able to get just the Gran Turismo bundle freely, but the rest of them were invitation. But now the regular PlayStation 5 with no bundled software. So what's the price? What's the price difference? Oh yeah, that's additional 5,000 yen. So you're paying for that, right? It's not like it's free. So I guess most people would, if you have the choice, would prefer to get the one that's cheaper and not bundled, because not everybody wants the game, or to pay extra for a game that maybe they're not interested in. You know, obviously you save money. Most people go for the cheaper option, right? Let's see your comments here. J2 Blue Engage. Do you think it's selling better because of Final Fantasy 16? No, because this happened before. Don't forget, the sales we got now is from last week. It didn't happen this week. So the recent gameplay demo that we saw yesterday wouldn't have affected this, because this is the sales from last week. It's not even this week. Really, good. I want Final Fantasy 16 to fail. Why? Why do you want Final Fantasy 16 to fail? What's the reason? Are you one of these people that's unhappy that they made it action and you want it turn based? Is it that? I know there's a lot of people like that, but they want it to fail. Come on. Square Enix have taken so many L's recently. They cannot afford another L. They really cannot afford another L. Come on, let them get one W, Vinnie Mac. Let them get one W. What's wrong with you? Let them get one W. Oh my god. Jago says faster PC releases. Okay, yeah. Are you PC Master Race, Vinnie Mac? Is that what it is? You're not happy that it's not on, that they're not releasing it on PC day and day? Is that what it is? There's one of the two. Either Vinnie Mac's not happy that it's turn-based, or Vinnie Mac's not happy that it's on PC. I know it's one of those two, Vinnie Mac. It's got to be one of those two. Okay. So, yeah, I don't think it's Final Fantasy 16 because the hardware was already dropping, right, as I said before, and this sales that we're seeing now is from last week. It's not from now, right? So the most recent gameplay would have no impact on this because that gameplay happened yesterday. So I think it's increased supply. As I said, the main SKU that doesn't have any bundled software is completely in stock on Amazon, which is one of the biggest retailers. So I think it's availability. But as you see, that availability has had no impact on the software, which is the the issue that's been for quite a while now, right? There's been an issue that there's no impact on the software. So let's look at the software on here. Oh my god, what have I done there? Is it the right week? Oh, I got the right one. Okay, so this is the most recent week. This is this week. Software totals. Is that both this week? It's still like 79% on Switch, 11% PS5, 10% PS4. So yeah, 27,000. Is that the total? 27,000 of PlayStation 4 and 5 software total. And so it's 27,000. Oh, I like the way they changed this now. Look, I'm so glad they did that. They actually put them under little sub things and put them all the models next to each other so you can compare them better. Oh my god, who is running this website? This is so much better. Thank you, whoever's running this website. I have no idea. It's got a name at the bottom, there was a name. But I've tried to look up, because there's not even any ads on this site, so I don't know how this is, they're just paying for this out of their own pocket. There's no ads. This is an ad block thing. Even without ad block, there's no ads on it. Okay, so the PlayStation 5, so you had the disc version, so 39,000 almost 40,000, but the software 27,000. What the hell's going on? The people are not buying a PlayStation 5 to get any software. I'm talking about just the disc. We're just looking at the disc version. I'm not even talking about PlayStation 5s that are obviously already out on the market, just the ones that sold this week. 39,000. 40,000 PlayStation 5s with a disc drive sold, and only 27,000 software sold, physical software. So it's not like with the increase. Why is it? I'm saying you had an increase, a very significant, very, very significant increase in PlayStation 5s, but the software's gone down from last week. Because last week, look at it last week. Last week, it was 32.8 thousand of PS5 software and 24.5 thousand of PS4 software. So how is it that the software's gone down by that much, but the hardware has gone up, like, significantly? That's what I don't understand. And you're saying, no, people are thinking, I don't know, I feel somebody is being sent abroad. You can say, oh, well, you look at it, the price, the resale price has gone down in Japan. Yes, within Japan, the resale price has gone down because the availability is so high. You can't, second-hand market, like, for that has collapsed, but not for people either buying them to send abroad or people buying it directly from abroad and then, just via Amazon or whatever. So, maybe they're doing it like that. Maybe they're just coming here on Amazon like I am, putting in their address and just getting it sent to them directly. It doesn't have to be going on the second-hand market. Because otherwise these figures do not add up. It doesn't make any sense. So can you see what I mean? This is why I like to sit down and talk about this stuff. Because you can say, oh, look, PlayStation 5 has gone up. It's gone up by a very significant amount. But then the software has dropped compared to last week. Why? I would love to know why. I would love to, I'm just speculating, okay? I'm spitballing here. I don't know the reason. I'm telling you what I think could be some of the reasons. I actually don't know. So look, JC Blue, exactly, they need a, I know, come on. Let's go and let's get a W. Good Lord. Vinny Mac, okay. Because for some reason, only the RPG genre is always determined to change their strips for a dwindling market that's not interested in their existence. Vinny Mac, I have no idea what you're talking. What does that mean? What? Because for some reason, only the RPG genre is always demanded to change their strips. I guess that maybe that's a typo, I'm not sure. For a dwindling market that's not interested in their existence. Josh Holm. It would be nice if Sony and Square prepared a special PS5 version with Final Fantasy themed plates and DualSense. Yes, that would be very nice. Actually, now thinking about it, I'm surprised they haven't done that. Why haven't they done that? Isn't that like a no-brainer? You're right, they didn't do that. In fact, Josh Holm, I'm thinking about it now, there haven't actually been any special editions PS5s at all. There haven't been any. Not even like just the plates sold separate. Because you'd think they'd do the plates separately, right? You don't need to make an entire system as a special edition. You just sell the plates. They haven't even done that, come to think of it. The only thing they did was they did a God of War Ragnarok DualSense. I remember that. But there wasn't a console. So yeah, I wish they did do that. That would have been nice, Josh Holm. I feel like if they were going to do that, they probably would have announced it by now. I guess there's still time. I just kind of feel like they would have announced it, but maybe there's one more thing. Like I said, maybe another time. It just seems like it's so close now that they would have announced it. But yeah, I hope so. I hope they do that. Vinny Mac. I personally took offence when Final Fantasy 16 trailer said action and no turn based. See, I knew it. It had to be one of those two things. Either you're bitter about it being action and not turn based, or you're bitter about the lack of PC release. See, I knew it. See, Vinny Mac, see it. I know you too well. I knew it had to be that. I knew it. Yeah, I know. I feel like we've gone over the hard way now. To talk about the trailers, we can go into that, but I am not. Okay, for anyone worried, I'm not going to show the Final Fantasy 16 gameplay because they showed way too much. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the PS blog. We're going to look at the PS blog, which does have a few screenshots, but it's mainly stuff. It's pretty much stuff we've seen before. It's not really spoilery, but we're going to go over this because, you know, I know there's maybe some of you that haven't seen the gameplay. If you don't mind being completely spoiled with a whole load of the icons, go and watch it because it's cool. But if you want to have something saved for the actual game, good lord, please, Square Enix, please, then, you know, maybe don't watch it. I'm sorry if you can hear some drilling or whatever in the background. There's some drilling going on, so I can't do anything about it. Okay, so the gameplay was yesterday, which was the evening for me, and it's like 20 to 25 minutes of gameplay and the world, and they did go over some of the mechanics and stuff as well. Now, I did say this in the pre-show, but one thing I noticed, and you're right, Vinnie Mac, they said multiple I feel like I was watching, I was like, you just said that, why, you're saying it again. They said multiple times, this is not turn-based, it's action, it's not turn-based, and I was like, I can clearly see it's not turn-based, man. The guy is jumping around doing Devil May Cry combos. Of course it's not turn-based. You can see that. You can see it's being directly controlled. And they said it more to the point. I'm like, what are they, who are they trying to sell this to? Like, I feel like they're trying to, it's like kind of two things. They're trying to do two things at once. They want people who, that's the thing. They want to get new people in, but the people they're trying to get in are people that don't mess with Final Fantasy at all. To the point that even though Final Fantasy has not been turn-based in like a decade or something, when was the last just straight up turn-based Final Fantasy? You could say 13, but even that had to be more than 10 years ago, right? So they want to bring people in that they still think it's turn-based, or probably still think it's like old school, right? Like, you know, 1 to 6 or whatever. Like even maybe they still think it's like that. Maybe they got that in their head. You know, they're trying to get those people, but at the same time, I feel like at the beginning of the thing, right, they started off by going over like the accessibility stuff, that like, oh, if you're not good at action, you can just automate the dodging and all this type. And I'm like, why are you showing all? I was like, no, whenever I've seen one of these presentations before, that stuff's at the end. But they started off talking about accessibility. You can equip these rings to make the stuff. It probably says it here in this blog. Oh, pardon me. You can equip these rings and everything. And I was like, if you're not good at action, you can. I was like, okay, so they're trying. They don't want to alienate. They already have, to be honest with you. They don't want to alienate the more traditional fan base, I guess, or older fan base. I feel like they already have by making it completely like, this isn't like Final Fantasy VII Remake where that had the little kind of semi sort of a little bit turn-based thing. This is 100% this is Devil May Cry combos, right? They literally got the Devil May Cry combat designer. They wanted it to be like Devil May Cry. It looks like that. I think there's a Final Fantasy been before where you're just jumping around as much as this, because the guy he's jumping everywhere, and I think that's probably why it's you're only controlling a single character, because they said you can give Torgal, the wolf dog, some orders to do stuff, to attack and different things like that, but only Clive, who's the protagonist, is the only one you'll be directly controlling. And they said the party members, or sort of, they didn't call them party members, they just people that's joining you at different points in the story, are completely AI controlled. They're completely AI controlled, so it's not like you're giving them any orders like you are with Torgal, right? And I think making it as action based as they did, where you're doing combos and stuff, that would be pretty tough with multiple characters. I think that's probably the reason why the others are sort of all AI controlled. But just making it like a one character game. You're talking about this game more aligns with obviously like an action game like Devil May Cry, but even when you're looking at Souls games, Elden Ring, or the Western games like God of War, right? So I think that's a very specific direction they wanted to go. Now, which I'm not going to show the footage because spoilers and stuff. It's pretty. They showed a lot. Like, honestly, I think that's just a little bit too much, but it is what it is. So they did talk about the different aspects of the game. They talk about Clive's hangout, and there's like a notice board where you can get these side quests from this Moogle to go and hunt. Now this is very much reminds me of Final Fantasy 14. So this is literally what you do in Final Fantasy 14. Like you can go and hunt certain big monsters, and people normally go and hunt them together. Like these really big monsters, and you get really good rewards from hunting down the big monsters. This looks a lot like that actually. So yeah, they call these mob hunts. You can go and take on straight to stronger enemies. Oh, you get a familiar face from the series, a Moogle. I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's a Moogle there. So here's the enemies. Kind of look like, traditional Final Fantasy enemies. Really, ones we've seen before, but they look pretty cool. So they went into the different places. Well, it explains that you're going through different periods in Clive's life, and that some of it will be in flashback, and then I guess you start off in the middle, like he's in his 20s, and then he'll flash back to when he's his teens, and then you probably just go forward in the story and go forward into his 30s. Is what I'm thinking is going to happen. But it says it's partially in flashback. Now I really like this here where they have what this looks like. They've made little sprites that look like the traditional Final Fantasy sprites. I'm like, just make a whole game like that. Come on, like, good lord, just make an entire game like that. And like that little thing they tweeted out before. Just make a whole like 2D sprite game, like turn-based. Like, I don't know why Square Enix doesn't do both. You could have this action game and you could do like a traditional turn-based one as well. What is stopping them doing that? That part is just, I don't understand. I feel like they're leaving money on the table by not doing that. Look at other franchises that have done that. Come on, man. Just get some sense. Square Enix. Oh my god. I said we haven't got time for Square Enix rant. Oh, good lord. Anyway, let's have a look. Look at your comments here. Josh Home, Finny, are you even hyped for 7 Rebirth? I'm guessing I'm putting the tone on. I'm putting the tone on that you're saying that in, Josh. I'm not saying you're saying it like that. I'm putting that on. Johannes. Is it Johannes? Oh, I've got to pronounce your name now. Is it Johannes? Yeah, that's why I skipped this state of play. I knew they were going to show that. You chose the right path. Like, they showed too much, man. Like, even if you're hyped for the game, like, I just don't see why. Like, if you're hyped for the game and you're already getting the game, don't watch it, is what I would say. You don't need to. You really don't need to watch it. You don't need to. It's literally 20 minutes of, like, just boss battles and him walking. You see him walking around a bit, but a lot of it is just like, let's show this boss battle and this icon battle and this here, and now you're Phoenix and you're flying, and you're doing and they just showed everything. I know it's not everything, but it felt like that. Vinnie Max says, even though I did enjoy the gameplay of Remake, I'm just looking forward to where they're going to take the story. Is it Johannes? I hope I've forgotten how I pronounced it the first time. Johannes. Also, I feel like Final Fantasy has not been truly turn-based in a long time. Yeah, it's true, it hasn't. So that's what I said. The fact that they kept saying that, so I'm like, when was the last time when they had like just straight turn-based Final Fantasy? Like long time ago. So you're saying that you have to keep telling people like this is action, it's not turn-based, it's action, it's not turn. Final Fantasy has not been turn-based in ages. So who? I don't know, man. They just said it so many times in that thing. World of Final Fantasy for okay. Yes, this world, but World of Final Fantasy is not like trying to be. That's like it's like a almost like a celebration of the franchise, all different characters and stuff like that. That's not what I mean. I mean like with it's a new Final Fantasy. Like it's a new, just a whole new game. Like it's an actual like entry into like the mainline series, but it's like alongside the action-based one that they do. Do you see what I mean? I know they got World of Final Fantasy, but I feel like World of Final Fantasy, I feel like that is, I mean, I would say that's a spin-off. I mean, something that's more like mainline, you know? Like it's mainline, but it's the turn-based one. You know? I don't see why they can't do that. You see something like Legend of Zelda does that. They have the regular 3D one, but then they've always had we call it like 2D or top-down Zelda, right? It's not really now the way they make them now, they're not truly 2D, right? It's 3D models, but you know what I mean, right? The top-down type of Zelda. They haven't made one of those for a while, admittedly. They just had the remake of Link's Awakening, but they haven't made a brand new one of those for ages. But yeah, like that. Why don't they do that? Do that. They do it. Monster Hunter, they do it for Monster Hunter now. There's a turn-based Monster Hunter. Just do that. J2 Blue. It'd be cool if the companions could help out with combat, like limit breaks or something. Maybe they do that. Oh, sorry if you could hear that drilling. I'm sorry about that. Maybe they do help with limit breaks. I mean, they showed the combat, but they didn't they didn't really explain it. They didn't really explain different things. So maybe they do help with limit breaks. I think that's possible. That does happen. But they didn't really they didn't talk about the mechanics. Like if you do this, then this is they didn't do that. So maybe Yoshi P actually said. When I say they, it was Yoshi P. It was his words, but they had some other person narrating it, obviously. Anyway, they said there's going to be another. I'm like, hang on, you're going to have another thing before yes, they said there's going to be another presentation before the game launches. They said there's going to be another one. Yes. Sorry about the drilling. The game looks great, but I wish it wasn't so dark. It's kind of, the palette's a little muted, I would say. It has a dreary medieval look, and I'm not a fan of it. Yeah, I would say in some place. Now, there was some outdoors environments where I'm sure there was a bit where he was in a field or forest or something. I don't know if they're showing that here. Yeah, it's not on here. Now, if I Google that, you're going to get into spoilers. But they did have an environment that was like either I think he was in a forest, but the places where he was inside actual cities or some constructed stuff. I did feel like it was a kind of a dreary, muted palette. It wasn't colourful. The stuff that was colourful was when you saw the combat and the icon battles, because they have they're lit up lights. For example, here you can see this lightning. Well, I can't make that one bigger. Oh, why is that annoying? Why can't you make these bigger? You can't make these bigger? You make this one bigger. Why can't I enlarge this? Oh, they don't know you. Oh. Oh, sorry, I can't make that bigger. They don't let you zoom in on this one. Yeah, you can't enlarge that one. But yeah, that's where you see the colours. but it's like it's against a dark background. So I feel like it's a very deliberate choice that they wanted it like that. What was the other thing I was going to say? I was not trying to fool now. God Lord. Let me see your comments again. That's a shame. I love it. Yeah, it's baffling why they fail to do one or the other. They can do. Listen, Square Enix is a company that has the expertise to be able to do that. It's like literally nothing that's stopping them doing something like that. And even you did bring up you brought up World of Final Fantasy, but okay, where's the next one of those? They haven't made one of those either. So it's not like, what have they done? They just did a remaster of what do we call it? Crisis Core. I guess that's the last spin-off they did. If you're not counting Final Fantasy VII Remake, which it's not really a spin-off. It's mainline, but it's not I guess it's not a continuation of the mainline. It's like a side step, like to the side a little bit. But I feel like it's a good thing that they do have the remake part 2 coming out, because at least there's going to be people that maybe I feel like they're more traditional fans, that if they are not feeling this one, then they have that one, right? Which isn't turn-based, but it's not Devil May Cry combos. That's what it's not. So yeah, so you can get quests from this Moogle. It's pretty cute Moogle. And then they said so Clive's hideout. He studies the histories of customs of Velistia, researching the local climate, folklore, religions and traditions. Harpocrates? Not Hippocrates. You know what I mean. Hippocrates. So I guess this is Hippocrates then. I don't know. Anyway. He's very curious at Clive's stories he takes home for his ventures. As Clive shares his past experience, Hippocrates gains new knowledge as a researcher, and the 1,000 tomes in which he keeps his record of knowledge will become more and more complete. You can read up on everything in Valistia if you visit Hippocrates and unravel the 1,000 tomes yourself. Don't forget to talk to Hippocrates when you stop by the hideout during your travels. Right, so this is like, if you really want to read this, I saw it and it's like, it's a whole load of reading. Basically, it's a whole load of reading. If you want to do that, go into the law, then you have that option there. There's different people you can speak to. For example, this is a Vivian, the military scholar, is well versed in the affairs of countries of Velistia and gives Clive's lectures at various points in the story. You can talk to her in the hideout as well. Vivian is very knowledgeable about present-day Velistia as well as history. She'll be happy to bestow you with knowledge of the past. With her help, you can explore the details of ever-changing character relationships and world affairs during specific time periods. Whenever you want to review the story so far or determine where Clive should go next, her knowledge will be surely of great help. So yeah, so that's definitely a character you can go to sort of recap the story and so on. So that's pretty useful actually. And here's a world map that you can go into. The world map looks pretty good. Well, I'm not showing the whole thing here, but it looked more dynamic. What they showed on the stream was like more dynamic than this. Like it had terrain and stuff, but this is not that same map. It's like a it's more of like a battle map, battle planning a battle. But the actual world map was like pretty dynamic. It wasn't like flat like this. Don't forget, if anyone wants to join me, because nobody has yet. Oh no, wait, Kike's here! Kike! Why didn't you tell me you was there? Oh my god! How long have you been waiting? Kike. Oh my god. In future, just like oh my god, you're gonna have to like type it in the live chat or something, or type it in the YouTube chat, or DM me or something. Like I didn't know you was in there. Sorry, I should have checked. Okay, Kike's gonna join me. If anyone else wants to join me, I will get the Discord link. 1 second. Let me get a Discord link.
Yeah, give me just one moment and I'll come back.
Okay, no worries.
1 moment.
I didn't know you was in there, Kike. I didn't know. Let's get an invite. I have to do this because like they always expire by default. I don't know why. Where's the chat? Chat, pop out. Here we go. Final Fantasy VII is basically its own franchise. Yeah, I mean it's had a whole bunch of spin-offs and movies and all sorts. So if you'd like to join me, please join the Discord and come into the waiting room live chat. Oh, Kike, I missed your memes. I missed Kike's memes. I'm sorry, I'm so dopey today. I'm sorry I've not been on the ball today. I'm feeling pretty drowsy. Pretty, hang on, let me just open Streamlabs. I can show you, hang on. I show you. So yeah. What was this money meme for? I don't know what that's what. Is that Square Enix? Was Square Enix being dopey? And then of course Thanos dancing in Fortnite. We need that. They're buying it for Fortnite. Kike, I actually don't think you're that far off. I'm gonna be honest with you. No, I don't think that's like the whole story. But oh yeah, I said maybe we'll look at Japanese Twitter because I do look at what people are saying. And there are some people say either they're saying stuff like oh there's nothing for me to play, or like oh I'm waiting for Final Fantasy 16. Then I saw some people not realizing it. Some people didn't even realize it was not on PlayStation 4. I see less of those now. I think most people know that it's not on PlayStation 4. Like oh I haven't got PlayStation 5. There's some people who maybe didn't. I think maybe not that many who didn't realize you can pretty much just go and buy PlayStation 5 now. They're not really they're in free supply now. Whilst we wait for Kike, shall we look at Japanese Twitter? No? Because otherwise we have to move on to the next topic, which is the which we have the Zelda trailer, Mario movie. Although I'm not really going to talk about the Mario movie, just the fact that he broke all these box office records and stuff. So yeah, we can look at that quickly here. It broke I mean, I just picked out a random story. This one's from the Hollywood Reporter. This isn't about just Super Mario Brothers movie by itself. It's about just the box office as a whole, I guess. Yeah, Sonic had the biggest global opening for any animated film, with 375.6 million over the long Easter holiday, with no sign of slowing down. It prepares to jump to the next level and clear 500 million mark globally in the next few days. Don't forget this film is not out globally. It's not out in Japan, for example. And I think it's the rest of Asia it's not out in. So yeah, it is not out globally. And I'm going to turn this heating up because it is getting cold. So yeah, that's all I want to say about the Mario movie. I'll check chat. Oh, Vinnie Mac. hopefully no technical issues. When you might come in. I hope.
I'm also back.
Oh, you're also back. Everyone's here. Everyone is here. Awesome. So welcome,
Hello.
Kike and Finny Mac.
Hello.
Hello. What would you like to talk about? Any of the topics? Would you like to talk about Final Fantasy 16?
Well, I don't know if Benny Mac wants to talk about it since I don't have a PlayStation 5, so I'm not planning on picking it.
You don't have a PlayStation 5? Oh no!
Nah.
Oh, you can't play it then. Yeah, unfortunately, it's only it'll be on PC at some point, but we don't know when.
Yeah, I don't know if Benny Mac has anything to do with that.
I do have a PlayStation 5, and I am going to wind up playing it only because it is called Final Fantasy, and I'm a sucker for anything marked Final Fantasy. But I'm not feeling good about playing it.
What?
I just after that 20-minute preview from yesterday,
Yeah.
it didn't excite me. I don't know how other people felt. I'm kind of getting a little bit both sides. That some people are excited because it's a PlayStation 5 centric RPG, so that is exciting to see what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But really, just taking a look at the actual preview itself, it didn't excite me. This game should be something that's not really taken seriously, if I'm making sense. And it feels like this is going to be a serious game with serious people having serious things to say, while at the same time everybody can transform into these giant monsters. So I'm hoping it's not too pretentious, but just from the preview so far, it looks like it's going to be a pretentious game. This game should be almost, I don't want to say like comedy. I'm not saying that, but the game should almost wink at the player, almost like, yeah, we know this is fantastical. Have fun with it. I'm really getting the feeling that there's going to tell like a serious story, and no one's going to smile. Everyone's going to be angry all game long, grays and blacks and everything. No real color. I don't know, but it's a Final Fantasy game, and I'm going to play it. I'm interested in kind of like the opinion here. So because this game is an action RPG in the vein of like maybe like Devil May Cry Bayonetta, I don't know how I would feel if this would have been if Devil May Cry 7 comes out or Bayonetta 4 comes out, and we hear this is a 40-hour game Devil May Cry or 40-hour game Bayonetta. That seems too much. And for this to be such a flashy style, high octane, roller coaster ride star game, this is their words. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's going to be draining after a while. If this is a game that you can marathon, or if this is the game that you're going to have to play in bursts, because it's going to be too over the top, too flashy, too octane, too high energy, and there's not going to be enough slow moments, if that makes sense, just how a game should have a ebb and flow to it. I'm wondering just how shallow the game's going to be if it's so focused on that high octane energy.
It doesn't sound like you want to play this game at all. You're describing it, but you're like, no, it's Final Fantasy. I have to.
I am more offended by when I'm keeping up with the interviews, when I'm keeping up with the previews, when I'm just keeping up with the behind the scenes of the game. This game looks like it was really catered to my brother, or your college roommate, or whatever, those that play video games, but those don't really view video games as a hobby. It's just something to do in the spare time. So it's really gearing towards that audience. I guess we have like 11 hours of cutscenes. I think they're talking about like the game is about maybe 30 hours with like 11 hours of cutscenes. One button combinations. I'm sorry?
They actually said it was 30 hours long.
They did verify this is going to be maybe a 30 to 40 hour game with 11 hours of cutscenes. So now all developers always say that their game's a lot longer, and get every treasure chest and do every side quest and fight every enemy. It's going to take you 1,000 hours to do. But really, when it gets into our hands, it's like maybe like half that, because you're just playing the game.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can do like one button combinations, so you can have everything auto dodge. I think this game is really more for those that don't play games as a hobby versus. I'm gonna sound elitist here. I'm gonna sound like I'm gatekeeping, but those that are really, true gamers, TM, the TM gamers.
No, you said it. Yeah, pretty much. It does sound like you're gatekeeping a little.
I know, but that's the way. It was a bad choice of words, but you get what I'm saying. Being a little tongue in cheek here, but I don't know. I don't know. It just.
So obviously they did fit. Like I did talk about, like they have added the accessibility features, which is a good thing, to have accessibility features there if you want them. But I feel like I feel like the reason they focused on that, this is just my speculation, okay? I feel like they focused on it because they don't want to 100% completely alienate people that like the more traditional Final Fantasy games. Although they haven't been completely 100% turn-based for a long time, but you know what I mean. They weren't like this, were they? I mean, come on. This is pretty. Even this is even quite far from like Remake. I mean, Remake was still like you have a party, you was controlling them basically, right? And
True. And even with Final Fantasy VII Remake, and this is really just my opinion, it's still the game was serious, but even the characters didn't take themselves seriously 100% of the time.
No,
even some of the musical cues were still a little goofy and zany. So it still kept that light-hearted feel. I'm not getting that.
It was goofy like that.
A very dark, depressing game.
That I'll agree with you on. I think like because Remake was obviously a remake, and the original game was goofy like that, right? So there was a lot of stuff that they kept in there. It was largely the same. I feel like they modernized it with the look of the game, but it still looked like it wasn't like they weren't real. When talking about the character models and stuff like that, they didn't look like real people. They looked like
right, and even like the musical themes were kind of still a little fun and silly, while at the same time you did have your serious moments. It was a nice ebb and flow. It's just I don't know.
For example, something I want to
play. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, something else. Speaking of that, they said that in Final Fantasy 16 there will be no mini games. There's no mini games, and their answer to that was that it's. I think they said something along the lines. It's not realistic and it's kind of distracting from the tone of the game. So they said something like that. So I'm pretty sure they said that there's no mini games.
This is a streamlined game, and this is from Yoshi P himself. This game was created for those with busy lives. So this game is a game where if you have kids or if you have a family, you can play this game in between all that. You can complete the game in between all that, and you're not going to really worry about kind of losing out on everything. Now, do you have an RPG with no mini game?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said. I'm gonna Google it right now.
Yeah, it's one of his first interviews. You can see Yoshi P, Final Fantasy 16. This game is for people with busy lives, or something like that. But you'll be able to find that quote. Again, it's not for your TM gamer that just sits around playing video games all day like me.
Sorry, I should to mute myself.
But it's for real adults with real lives and real things to do.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no, it does. Yeah. As I see, all I can find is Sports Illustrated and USA Today. What the hell? Games Radar, everything we know. Minigame. Final Fantasy 16 is not open. Oh God, we have to look up stupid USA Today. Okay, we look at USA Today. It's fine. Reject all of those. Oh wait, no, sorry. You can't see the screen, can you? Hang on. Sorry, got the Discord up. Okay, this is what I'm looking at. Ditches the RPG Series Edition of quirky minigames, right? So they always have these quirky minigames, right? All of them do. Producer Naoki Yoshida told Gamatsu in a recent interview that the series' usual quirky side games don't fit with the upcoming RPG's darker tone. So you're right. They literally said that it's not going to have this darker tone. We have countries at war. This is funny. We have countries at war. We can't really have some blitzball matches going on when people are killing each other.
But at the same time, your main hero can turn into all these mystical beasts. But that's come on.
I know. So, it's the same thing he said about no black people in there. Well, it's based on real history. It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
But so now you juxtapose Final Fantasy 16 with the game that's also coming out around the same time frame, Trails of Reverie. So any of my Legend of Heroes folks out there that also watching, You take a look at that trailer, and they got a whole trailer dedicated to all the mini games, fishing, card games, racing, on top of the mega story that they're going to have on top of that. So again, it's geared towards a particular market. I get it. This is the PlayStation 5 only game. You want to make sure you get the most amount of reach. You're probably betting on the fact that RPG fans like me are going to play it anyway. So you're really going for that non-RPG elk. I get it.
But his argument is like it's not realistic to have mini games where you're going and fishing and stuff like that, because if you're in the middle of war, you're not going to be going and doing games like that. But it's like you say, it's a fantasy. It's not realistic. When we're playing all those other games we play with these mini games, we just like kind of what's the word? Oh my god, what's the words?
Have a card game or like a dice game or something like that. You know, people at war still have.
You yeah, they still do. Yeah, that's true. They still do stuff to pass the time.
Trading card game,
games and things. So you could
or whatever.
You could do that, but then at the same time, that's an argument from having no side quests at all, really. You could say, well, you can't have any of these side quests because why would you be going off and doing these side things where you're going and hunting some beast when there's a war going on? You're supposed to be doing this over here. Why are you going off to go and hunt some beasts? You know.
So I'm gonna play it. It will be very interesting to see the Discord once the game comes out. And I think with a game like this, I think a lot of people probably get the game in late June, marathon it in about a week, and it seems like it's a game that you'll be done in about a week or so. I'm not expecting 2-3 weeks down the line.
It's not a crazy long game. It's if you said 40 hours, you can complete it sooner than that.
Skipping over those long cutscenes. If you got 11 hours of cutscenes, people are going to skip over that. So.
Well, I think the idea is that they don't want people to skip over it. They want people to enjoy it as like almost as if, because that's like a whole season of like a TV show. Really.
Yeah. So again, I didn't see anybody smile. I didn't. You know, I thought with this being a PlayStation 5 game, I was expecting maybe the character movement to be a little more looser.
I guess say, like, a criticism that I do have is that the facial animations are extremely stiff. Now, I know that like the kind of art style they have is kind of, it's not 100% realistic. Is what it is. They look more realistic than they do in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Let's put it that way. I think they look a little bit more like real people.
Agreed.
Whereas like you wouldn't be able to just see like Cloud on the street like and think he looks like a real person. He doesn't. He looks like an anime character, which is what he's supposed to look like. But I feel like these characters, they were going for a little bit more like that, and they didn't have that stiff face thing going on, especially when they're talking to NPCs were very stiff as well, which was something that you've seen in previous Final Fantasy games as well, where you've had that kind of stiff face thing. But I think like as a studio, what they're focusing on is not facial animations, like in something like a God of War, not God of War, well, you could say that game, or sorry, what's that game?
Horizon.
Yeah, funny enough, the first game of that did have very stiff faces, and that was a criticism, which is why it was a lot better in the second game. The first one had really stiff faces. No, I was thinking of Death Stranding. Death Stranding.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good facial animations. So it's not a game. I feel like it's a game because it's like combat focused. I feel like their thing was like the combat, not the facial animations.
But even you kind of nerf that with the accessibility rings, because if the whole hook is going to be this flashy combat, if I turn that on, because let's face it, you're going to turn that on.
Yeah, but you won't. Yeah, but Vinnie Mac, come on. You're not going to turn that on, are you? You're not going to use that.
Oh, yeah. For the auto evade, absolutely I am. Yeah. If I can, you know, I'm a lot older, so I'm about 39. So I'm 39, so I don't really have the time to be kind of, you know, Twitch game. I just want to just sit there and just enjoy my video game.
So why are you complaining, Vinnie Mac? Come on, man. You say, no, why did they put these in? I don't know why I'm using it.
Because you just could have just created a regular ass RPG and call it a day. You can still keep all the realism and all the flashiness of it, but give the people what they want. Give the people what they want. You want this on the PlayStation 5 only. This probably could have been also on the PlayStation 4. I'm not seeing
I
anything that
feel.
screams PlayStation
I mean,
5
they
yet.
yeah. If they
Yes.
really had wanted to, they could have found a way to make it on PlayStation 4. Yes, and I think that
So
not putting it on a PlayStation 5, sorry, a PlayStation 4, is going to affect that. We're talking about sales. Obviously, we're talking from a sales perspective. Yes, not putting it on a PlayStation 4, which has well over 100 million consoles in the world, it's going to affect your sales potential, especially because they're not launching on PC day and date as well. So it's around, I don't know exactly how many, but it's over 30 million PS5s, right? So there's limitation there, and this it has very much limited their sales potential in Japan in particular. I feel like the sales potential is there. It's very limited. I think with what they're going for with this game, Vinnie Mac, if you want my honest opinion, I think they are trying to get those fans, those type of gamers you're talking about. I think they are, because they want to make money, and the more people you can get to buy your game, the more money you're going to make. And if it means doing some things like that, so I think what they've done is, I don't think they designed the combat around those automation rings and stuff like that. It feels like they decided, right, we're going to do the combat like this, but not everybody's going to be able to do Devil May Cry combos. So we're going to put this stuff in, these rings or something you can equip, that's going to make that easier for people. So it's not like just a regular easy mode. You have to equip these actual things, is my understanding. You have to. They take up slots. They take up equipment slots.
You can't really mid-max your character the way you want to if you also want to have that accessibility. So whatever, I'm still going to play it anyway.
Yeah. So
but that's what I have to say about Final Fantasy. I'm interested in if everyone else's response on it. I'm very interested in seeing what everybody else. Maybe I'm the only one. I thought the state of play went way too long. Walk through almost mentality. Really, they didn't need to show those boss battles or those
They did show
what are they called?
Icons.
Yeah, icons. Especially since those are going to be fixed battles anyway, so they're going to play out one way. I don't think you can approach those multiple ways. I think there's one way to approach it. So I'm a little bit surprised that they hung up on it so long.
It seems so that they have certain like beats that's within the battle. It did seem like that. So I don't know. That I do think they did a little bit too much. And they said there's going to be another presentation, so I would advise you, especially if you already know you're getting a game, not to watch that, because I felt kind of that they showed too much. Right. I just want to read off what Josh Holm has said. The game is fully inspired by the structure of God of War 2018, but with Devil May Cry combat style. To think it's a 30-hour Devil May Cry is a shallow analysis. Sorry. That person hasn't been following deeper interviews, so we have to hear bad takes like this. Oh, it's the guy who said earlier he expects the game to crash. LMAO. And Joanna said, damn. So you have got some scathing criticism there, Vinnie Mac. This because Josh Holmes talking about.
I figured it's not going to be a popular opinion. And again, I'm from the old school, so I don't think the RPG genre needs.
Oh, you break! I can't hear you.
So other genres of games don't have to constantly evolve themselves. They either keep on the straight and narrow, which like your mascot platformers. Yes, there's not as many, but they all pretty much play the same. Your sports play the same. Your shooters play the same. Your fighters play the same for the most part. Yes, there's some evolutions involved, but there's always a demand for the RPG market to constantly change its stripes. So, and it's been like that, maybe since, I guess maybe the Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1. there's always been a demand that the RPG crowd changes. So, Final Fantasy is the logical conclusion of that demand.
I feel like
In my
I feel
opinion.
like other genres have changed as well, but for sure, RPG genre is one of the most dynamic with so many different like combat styles. Because don't forget, we do consider action RPGs and turn-based RPGs to be the same genre, but they're just like subgenres. You know, we do say Western RPG, we do say JRPG. They are the same genre, but there's so much distinction from them. You can almost call a Japanese RPG almost like a separate genre. It's like a style of game, or more of a style of game, or a subgenre. So there's a lot of stuff, but anyway, Josh's criticism of you, they're saying that your analysis is shallow and you haven't been following the deeper interviews. Although you claimed that you have followed some of these interviews, right?
We just finished talking about that. There's very, very little side quests and there's no mini games. How deep is this game really gonna go? It looks like it's gonna be a point to point type game, which is fine. That's the whole purpose of this. Mm-hmm. So if I am missing this deep end of the pool, I haven't seen it, and it's not. It is, but it's not my responsibility to sort of hunt for that deepness. The game should be providing that deepness to us.
Again, do you mean in regards to the marketing?
Yeah, so it is my responsibility, but at the same time, it's on Squaresoft. This is supposed to be a deep game, and I'm wrong.
First of all, it's not Squaresoft. It's Square
Enix.
It's Square Enix. The Squaresoft is no more. That company was dissolved a long time ago. It's Square Enix.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Square.
I know what you mean.
Right.
I was going to say something right there, but I completely forgot what it was. Kike, let's hear what you've got to say.
What I was going to say is, so what Benny Mac is saying is that they need to spoil the game more so you can be.
But they've spoiled it a lot already. That's what I mean. Yeah.
They need to spoil it more. Then they need to spoil it.
Please
more.
do not. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been paying attention to this game because I already accepted I'm never gonna play it. So.
Because you don't have a PlayStation 5. Are you considering getting a PlayStation 5 in the future?
Really. The only reason I got my Xbox is because I wanted a Blu-ray player, so I just got it for the Blu-ray player.
Oh, so you already have that with the Xbox, yeah. There's no games in particular that would interest you then for the PlayStation?
Not really. I play mostly on Switch, so not really.
Okay, so not even Final Fantasy 16. Wow.
Not even Final Fantasy 16. I was excited, but then when I accepted I'm not gonna get a PlayStation 5, I just sort of fell out.
You just tuned out the marketing. I mean, I can understand like why you wouldn't be paying attention if you can't even play the game. Not everybody can afford or wants multiple systems that do the same thing. Basically, I know some people do. They're like, oh yeah, they have Xbox, they have PlayStation, they have PC. Which all, they're very similar, and I can understand why not everybody would have multiple unless you're like a super hardcore gamer. Some people are and they'll have multiple, but often people don't. I think probably usually they don't actually. But yeah, I mean, I guess you haven't been following the game directly, but you've just sort of through osmosis, like. You are seeing other people's reaction to the gameplay and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, even my brother plays 14, so
okay.
He's excited, but he doesn't have PlayStation 5, so I don't know what his plan is.
He's excited. He doesn't even have PlayStation 5 either. Oh no.
Maybe he's waiting for the PC version. The mystical
version. The PC version. So I think. I can understand why 14 players are excited because it's the same team, right? And you can kind of see that in the game. Not the tone, because the tone of 14 is not it's not like I would say it's not like they're kind of like dark, and there are dark moments. There's dark stuff that happens in it and stuff like that. But I mean, like with the art style and stuff like that, it's not. It doesn't look like 16 when you're looking at the art style and things like that. And there's a lot of. I mean, the whole thing's like a mini game with like there's a main story, but there's so many things that you can do in there. You can just play that game without ever doing the main. Like me, was what I done. You know, have progressed the main story. That's kind of dumb, but yeah. And it's full of that stuff. The thing that I from what I've seen, one of the things I like the most is the music. I think the music is amazing in 16 for what they've shown us. Because I'm not like a Final Fantasy fan from back in the day, and I don't play all these old Final Fantasies. I'm not hung up on like whether it's turn based or not. I would say this from just a newcomer's perspective. The gameplay does look intimidating. It does look. I understand why they put this one button mode and stuff like that. Because if you are just a newcomer or you're just curious about it, it looks really intimidating. It looks really hard to do and everything. So I understand why they've put those modes in there. To kind of comment on what Finny Mac was saying.
So Jake, I have a question because you did say something interesting. So regarding Final Fantasy 16 specifically for you, were you interested in it because of the game, or was the discord around it made you more interested in the game?
I was intrigued. I mean, you know, natural intrigue there because everybody's talking about it, right? And I definitely got caught up in excitement and maybe bought a expensive ass collector's edition that I shouldn't have got, but you know, it's what it is. Yeah, I mean, the game looks cool. I think it looks good. I'm not like hyped out of my mind or whatever, but that's just I'm usually like that because I'm like, well, the game's not going to come any faster. Nothing's going to change for me going crazy, and I've already pre-ordered it. What more can I do? You know, I feel the same way about Tears of the Kingdom as well. I'm like, are you hyped for the game? I think the game.
Tears of the Kingdom, or are you more excited for Final Fantasy 16? I guess I'm trying to gauge because you did mention that you're not a fan of Final Fantasy kind of person. You are interested in this particular game.
I wasn't able to play the Final Fantasies when I was younger, so I didn't have PlayStation 1 or whatever, so I didn't play these games when I wasn't able to. I didn't have the systems. So I would say I'm more excited for Tears of the Kingdom, but that's because I played Breath of the Wild and I really like that, right? So whereas Final Fantasy, although it's like a long running franchise, this particular entry is completely different in many ways from the previous entries. So it's kind of almost like a new test case. So in that sense, I feel more excited for Tears of the Kingdom, because it's kind of like I know what I'm going into, and I've seen from what they've shown, it looks like that, like Breath of the Wild, but even more. Like there's more mechanics and stuff, and it looks more like alive and interactive and stuff like that. But with Final Fantasy, I think it's just, even though I say I'm not like a traditional fan of everything. I mean, I've only played three. I've played like 3 Final Fantasy games, right? So I haven't played. There's a whole bunch of them I've never played. So I can't. You know, I can't. I feel like I haven't got like a dog in the race in that sense, of you know, oh I'm upset it's not turn based, or I'm upset. I don't feel like that. I would say that it's a shame that there's no mini games in 16, because in general I like mini games. So it's a shame they don't have those. But I would have to wait. I feel like I'd have to wait and see for the game with like the tone, which they say, oh, it's serious, you're at war and all this type of thing. And I think the other thing that maybe muddies it for me, because I'm always looking at this stuff from a sales perspective, right? I'm always thinking, what are people saying? What's going to make it sell more? All that's going around in my mind all the time, and I'm thinking, oh, is something like changing the tone of the game, is it going to alienate other fans, and I'm sure they know that there's going to be some alienation there, and is that worth what you would gain from getting in a whole load of new fans, right? Which is what they want to do. I feel like they want to get the new fans in, but they want to completely alienate the old fans, and it's callbacks to older games, but it's from what I've seen and from what I've just looking at the franchise from kind of like a little bit more from the outside, it does seem quite different to the other games in terms of I'd say just the tone and the art style of it seem quite different. It doesn't look like Final Fantasy VII Remake, although that's a modernized take on like one of the older games, a classic game. It still really looks like Final Fantasy. You know, it's not. But this game here, apart from the fact they've added in Moogles and Chocobos and stuff, if I just saw this game without any context, I didn't know the name, I wouldn't say, oh, that's Final Fantasy. You know, just if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like nobody has anime hair. What are we doing here? We need anime hair.
That would help with my excitement.
Yeah, I feel like I dream stuff. Like I remember when I was younger, and I tried to look this up and I could not find it. I'm like, I did not dream this. This was a real thing. There was a hair gel that they was advertising on TV. It was made by Wello or something like that. Right? This is in the UK. So I grew up in the UK, and it was called like manga hair or something like this. Like it was showing you how to style your hair to make the spikes and everything. Like I remember this advert, and I did not make that up. That was a real product. It was called like manga hair or something, or maybe it was called anime hair. It was like an actual hair gel you could get to make your hair look like that. And this was in the 90s. No? Or maybe I did dream. I'm sure that was a real thing. I'm sure it was real. I remember. So yeah, Final Fantasy 16. Let's see how the chat. Does anyone in the chat say anything? How they're feeling? Chat. Which chat? Okay, well they haven't said anything. So I think that one person, Josh Home, had a very. It was quite critical, and maybe they pieced out.
You know what, which is fine. Again, you know, when it's all said and done, this is just a video game, so it's not like we're talking about anything. Really
It's just opinions here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, Vinny Mac, you're not taking it personally. You're not taking it personally or anything like that, right? No. Yeah. It's just it's fine to be critical. It's fine to be critical and have criticisms. So.
Absolutely.
Well, see, I feel like we're kind of done with that. I feel like I'd like to talk about Tears of the Kingdom, since I've been live for over 2 hours now. I feel like we should get into that topic. So I'm going to find the gameplay that I prepared. I prepared. I actually prepared. Here's the gameplay. I can put
that game comes out on a Friday. So are you gonna have your show, or are you gonna have a special Tears of the Kingdom launch party show?
When this game, how do you think I'm gonna be having a show when this game's out? How do you think I'm gonna be doing that? Who's gonna come to my show when this game's out, Vinnie Mac? You're not gonna come. No one's gonna come.
I will be here.
No, you won't.
I will be here because I am a loyalist and I support you. So
this is too loud.
Be...
No, you won't. I know you won't. Everyone's gonna be playing this game. They're not gonna come. Why would anyone come? So this is out on a Friday. Okay, so you're saying it's out on a Friday. I guess they're always out on Fridays, right?
Yeah.
I've got the gameplay playing here in the background. I felt very similar to how I felt at Final. People say, "Oh, are you excited for this game?" I've already bought the Captain's editions and everything, and I managed to get. I didn't find the what do we call it? I haven't seen the Pro controller on sale anywhere, but I managed to get the amiibo. I didn't feel like people going out of their minds. I think it looks really good, but I'm not gonna say that I'm like crazy hyped because I was already like really looking forward to it anyway. I don't feel like I can get more excited. I'm just like, I saw it looks cool. It's kind of what I expected. to be honest. A lot of people are saying it's just DLC, which I don't understand the arguments of people saying. I'm like, how do you think they're going to be working on a game for 6 years and it's just going to be like DLC? That makes
see, the problem I have with that argument is that we just had this conversation when it came down to God of War Ragnarok. We just had this conversation. The game community said God of Ragnarok, it just could have been DLC because they reused assets and animations and all that. I remember that one scene of Kratos jumping in the boat and swimming on the river.
Do you remember that GIF? So someone made some goddamn GIF. You know what's so wild for me, Mac? I'm like, hang on, you think when they make games, they literally just scrap everything they did before and they just rebuild it all again from scratch? Do you want to wait 10 years for every game?
Especially a direct sequel. Especially when you're talking about a
direct sequel. That makes no sense. So when people are showing that, I'm like, yes, they're not going to remake the entire everything. You do reuse things, of course, but it's a new. That doesn't mean it's not a new game with new content. It just means like it's a sequel. So you've got a lot of the same stuff, and you're building on top of it, and with a new story and new characters and stuff like that. So I don't understand that argument. Basically, I've heard that argument made for every sequel that has come out within the last few years. The DLC. But I mean, when they made sequels back in the day, Vinnie Mac, they did the exact same thing they do now, where they reuse stuff. They don't rebuild it all from scratch.
And we are going to have the same conversation as soon as Spider-Man 2, that first trailer dropped. A lot of people are going to say the same thing. This could have been DLC. Because I'm sure they're going to build off Spider-Man, PlayStation 5, and build off that.
If you want to say anything's DLC, you'd say Miles Morales anyway, because that was more like, I don't know, it was like its own separate game. It was like what they used to call it a what do they call it, an expandable, an expansion. Oh no, what was the word? There was some made up word they would use. Okay, I played it with the sound, so I'm gonna just play it again without this. Let's just loop it. Let's loop it. There we go. So we got some gameplay in the background. I've completely lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Help me. Kike, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you don't have a PlayStation 5. Do you have a Switch?
Yes.
Okay, are you looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom?
I am. Yes, I am.
Okay. Did you pre-order multiple collector's editions?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Well, just me then.
I did not pre-order.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm cancelling one of them. Okay. Good lord. Yeah. So. What did you see this trailer? Kike is what I wanted to say. This
yes, I did.
3 minutes. Okay. What were your thoughts? Is this $70 DLC?
This is $70 game of the year. That's what this is.
It's a $70 game of the year. That's an interesting conversation. I guess we hadn't had when you're talking about game of the year. People usually mean the Game Awards game of the year, right? We know there's different ones, but we can already say now, even though all these games aren't out, we can say what the contenders that are most likely to be, and I would expect to see Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy 16, maybe Spider-Man 2. What else is coming out? Maybe Starfield. I don't know. Also, excuse me. And what else came? Resident Evil 4 remake, because Resident Evil 2 remake was nominated, if you remember, but Resident Evil 3 wasn't. I don't think it was. Was it?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. But because people weren't as hot on that one. But they really liked the first remake, or the first recent remake, I should say. So that was nominated for Game of the Year. And what else is coming out this year? I guess like Diablo 4.
We'll have to see. Sometimes they like to release games out of nowhere.
Not a big game that's likely to get. Maybe an indie game. I guess there's not. Off the top of my head, I can't think of an indie game that would be like Game of the Year, or maybe like Vampire Survivors would be nominated.
Well, that's the thing about indie games. Like, we don't know until we know it. Like, when an indie game comes out, it gets 10 out of 10. Like, we never
Yeah.
And we don't expect an indie game to get a 10 out of 10 until it happens.
Yeah, and then
So-
there's oh god, what's it called again? That Hollow Knight spin-off sequel.
Silksong?
Silksong, yeah, that's coming out this year, right?
Is it?
Well,
we haven't heard anything definitive.
I,
The only thing we had was it was supposed to be on Game Pass this year.
okay, so you're right. We did not get any date, but it was at the Xbox showcase last year, and that was the same showcase where they said everything's going to be out within 12 months.
Like Starfield and Forza
And yeah, but okay, but those games were made by Microsoft. Silksong is obviously a different independent, so it could still. I mean, but that would still mean it would have to be out by June, so maybe not. Maybe not. I'm thinking it's going to be out later this year. Maybe we'll get an update that it's going to be out later this year. Anyway, the point I was making was that is an indie game that could get Game of the Year. But I liked Hollow Knight, but I felt life with me. I could not complete that game. I got completely lost and turned around, and then I couldn't beat some certain boss, and I'm like, I'm out. I can't do this game. It was really cool. I really loved the art style and everything, and the combat was really cool. I just couldn't finish it. It was really hard, and I got lost. And if I have to play that now, I literally have to go back to the start of the game because I can't remember the maps and everything. I'd have to go back and start again. And I'm like, no, screw that. I'm not doing that. So I never finished it. But it's cool though. So any other thoughts about this game? I'll just gonna look at the chat.
I'm one of those guys that I won't get excited until like the day before, where I'm like,
right.
Oh damn.
I feel you, Kiki. I'm not like, I've seen this and I'm like, okay, I don't feel like hyped. Like I listen. When Breath of the Wild coming, that's when I got back into gaming properly. I had a 3DS before that. I remember playing like Pokemon and some other stuff, and then I wasn't gonna get a Switch. Right? I had no plans to get a Switch, but I started going to this meetup. It's like this Nintendo meetup for people with like 3DSs or whatever, right? So I go to this meetup, and somebody had the Switch had just come out. Somebody had the Switch. They had the Switch, and they had Breath of the Wild on it. And I looked at it. I was like, "What are you playing? What's that?" Oh, it's the new Zelda game. I'm like, what? That's what Zelda looks like now? And that's what I saw, and that convinced me to go and buy it. And I played, and I was playing it, and I met like one of my best friends there. Actually, still my friend today. I met him there. His name's Mo. And I said, oh my god. I was like, oh, I haven't been playing games for so long. I said, I can't believe games are this good now, and this is how games are now. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, oh, these games like games are like this is what games are like now, right? And he's like, no, not all games. No, they're not all like that. I was like, what? They're not all this good? And he's like, no, they're not all this good. So because I played that game and I was like, oh, this is how games are. They're all this good. This is amazing. No, they're not. But that's when I sort of properly kind of got like way more into gaming. Really, because I'd been out of it for mainly like I was doing other things and I had stuff going on and my health issues and stuff like that, and I'm just not having the money. If you haven't got the gaming's not cheap. If you haven't got the money, you just can't do it. You know, and then talking about before when obviously smart, phone. Is that my door? I hope not. You know, obviously phone games are like there's a lot of them now, but there's only. Is somebody drop out a call? My phone games haven't been around all that time. It's Vinny Mac. He always leaves without saying goodbye. Every time. He just drops out. I don't know if you've got technical issues or what it is, Vinny Mac. But thank you for joining us when you did. Yeah, so I already played this game and I really loved it. This is from someone who played the first one, who played that game and really loved it. So I don't feel types like that. I don't know. I think it's just a me thing.
The only exception I have is Sonic. Whenever a new Sonic game is announced,
oh yeah, you're crazy about Sonic, right? What? So hang on, Kiko, be honest. Not about Sonic Forces. Be honest. Come on.
Sonic Forces?
Come on, you didn't feel that way about Sonic Forces. Come on.
No, I did. No, well.
No.
when Sonic Forces got announced, yes, I did.
You was excited for that?
Well, yeah, you don't remember the pre like the pre-hype period we
Obviously
had for
not.
Sonic Forces.
Obviously I don't know. People were I don't know, man, because that game didn't look hot when they were showing it. Pretty Kika. It didn't look hot. Come on, Kika. It didn't. It didn't. It didn't. Come on. But anyway, they kind of you know, Sonic Frontiers was much better received.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm not one of these people that gets like, I don't know, I don't feel. Sometimes I get like that. Sometimes I feel more hype, but I feel like I don't feel like how everyone else feels about, because I already get in the game. The game already looks good to me. I can't get more hyped. I don't know. Like, seeing another trailer does not make me, oh my god, I want to buy 5 more collector's editions. I've already done it. I've already bought, well, not 5. I've already bought collector's editions. I'm not gonna get any more. I just want to get the Pro controller and the case.
Yeah, I already have the. Yeah, I have the amiibo and the Pro controller already. Or like, I am gonna play this game. I am gonna probably like get everything I can in that game. I just. Yeah, I don't know. The trailer's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. The trailer's fantastic. Like,
it's a good trailer.
The way it's edited, the way they edited the music, like.
The music in particular is good. It's one of those things, like, if you are a Zelda fan, you're gonna like that. And I watched some reactions to this trailer, and there were people like just crying, like straight up crying.
I can understand.
Like, that's the thing. I don't get like crazy, like going out my mind like that, but I love watching reactions of people that are, you know, different streamers and things that are going crazy, and they're going crazy. Cause I don't know. I love watching people get hyped. That's the funny thing. I love watching people get hyped like that. You know, sometimes I get up and you get in the excitement of like a Nintendo Direct or whatever, right? You get in the excitement of it. I know, I completely understand that. But I'm already getting this game. I'm already going to get it. So I'm already invested and convinced to play it, even without seeing this trailer.
Well, I wanted to convince the people that were saying it's DLC, so...
Yeah, but anyone in their right mind, I don't know, the people that say that DLC thing, I never know whether are they really being serious, or are they like trolling? Are they just trolling?
I think it's trolling plus a few, because sometimes, like way back in like 360 PlayStation 3, when they were doing like the parts of the game that were already in the game as DLC, like they were like back in the day. What they did for DLC is that they just took a chunk out of the game and then sold it as DLC.
Right.
So that's where the whole the whole meme, if you could say, like expensive DLC, it came from that.
Right.
But no, most of it is trolling. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anyone in their right mind knows, like, if a game is in development, especially when they're in development, because nowadays, look how long games are in development for, right? It's 5-6 years for a game.
Yeah, I think it's because this is the longest wait for a Zelda game ever.
True.
And it's using this.
And it's
using the same world.
I remember someone saying, "Oh, they're using the same map. It's the same thing. How can it be taken?" This was 2 years ago. How can it be taken? And I was like, you don't know what they've done to the game and what they've added. You can't just say it's just the same map and it's just all the same character models. How can it be taking them so long? You don't know. To be fair, you don't know what they're doing. Obviously, they're doing something more than what you're saying. Otherwise, it wouldn't have taken this long. But yes, it's the longest wait between Zelda games. In considering that they were building on top of the previous game, and also I think it's just because game development is just taking that much longer. And I think obviously that when we're looking at these recent games that are coming out now, obviously the COVID pandemic did slow stuff down, slowed everything down. Like, it happened to everything. So you do have to take that into consideration. So maybe this game would have came out last year if that hadn't happened. I think that must have added like another year to it. So we do need to take that in consideration, but just in general, games take a lot longer to develop now.
even now, like they're trying to make sometimes developers trying to make it earlier, but without like I'm not gonna talk too much about the Redfall thing. Like they said, like it's gonna launch in 30 FPS and then later 60
Uh,
FPS.
yeah, we can talk about that if you want to.
On, only in the terms of like people are saying delay the game. It's like delay it again. It's like God.
Well, the game was
Like
already
game.
delayed by like a year, right? The thing is,
Yeah,
like, they're not, then okay. So the game's launching at 30 FPS, right?
mhm.
You won't be able to play at 60 or above unless you have a PC. So
Yeah.
I
So
feel like if their intentions, it's not like those other games where there was a couple others recently that were 30 and they never said, oh, we're patching it in later. But with this, they're saying, well, no, this is coming later. So therefore, if it's coming later, if you delayed the game, it could be there at launch. That's the logic. That's
yeah,
what people are saying.
yeah, yeah. So that goes back to like games just are taking longer. So like even if let's say we can add like I don't know subtitles later, but we had to launch the game now. It's like no, delay it another 5 months. I don't know. It's yeah, it's weird. Like games
I
are
would
taking too
rather
long.
have games. I would rather have games launch complete and without, you know, major bugs and stuff like that.
Well, yeah,
Um,
bugs are one thing. Yeah,
but I think the reality is nowadays, just yeah, just the way things are and how long it takes. That games will be launched and then certain features will get promised to be coming later, and sometimes the features don't always come. So it's not
hmm
exactly the first time that happened, because if you remember with Halo Infinite, they said, "Oh, we're going to add co-op, we're going to do all this and that." And, you know, in the end, they didn't put that split screen co-op in, right? The
yeah,
local split screen co-op, they didn't put it in. And they said they was going to. So, uh, I mean, in particular with Microsoft, they they seem to have some issue with like like the management. I think
management. Yeah,
with some of these games, I understand game delays, but they like to launch it to launch no, basically to know to do that and knowing it's going to be bad PR in it. They already knew that was the people were going to kick off about it. They already knew that, um, but they decided to do it anyway. You
hmm
know, I'm not a developer. I don't know how long it takes to do a 60 FPS option in a game. But I'm thinking like, how is it really? Is it really like months and months and months, like 6 months or something to do that? Does it take that long to put that option in a game? I guess they have to optimize for it, right? But if you already have a
yeah,
PC, if you play the
yeah.
game on PC, then you're kind of tweaking it yourself, right? But when it comes to the optimization, I guess that's what it is, or that's what takes the time. Um,
Yeah, it's basically that.
I do. I mean, I do understand people's grievances with that. I can see why people would be annoyed. Yeah, I can, and I think it's not a good look. And they could delay the game. I think they've taken a decision not to do that because
Because I,
if you look at that, that's basically. I'm going to talk about Halo Infinite again, their other game. That was last year?
mhm,
Um, that
2021.
one they did. That one they did delay. It delayed. It got delayed by a whole year, over a year. Because it was going to come out
Yeah,
with the Series X. It didn't.
yeah, and it's still had people are still saying where's the stuff?
Right. So I think there's issues in the industry in general, but I think Microsoft has its own special set of issues to do with like the management. Just seems odd that they not having the option at launch for a game for a shooter. I think that's why people are annoyed because it's
Yeah,
a shooter. It doesn't really matter as much for other genres. You could say, oh, it's a cooperative shooter. I guess it's not competitive, right? It's cooperative shooter is what it is. it's a cooperative shooter, but I think that option is more important than say like a turn-based game or a single-player action adventure game, right? And in particular when it comes to you could say the new gen consoles, especially when they were essentially they marketed the Series X on like power and all of this. So to not have that option on at launch is you know, for the people that you look at it from the perspective of like their marketing and the sales and stuff and what they're trying to do, like the kind of consumer that's interested in Xbox and they did look at the marketing and stuff, that's going to matter to that type of person, I would say, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if that, if because if they do a delay, when are they gonna launch it? Because it's also like, okay, we're gonna delay it to when? It's because maybe no.
It'd be like the end of the year, right? I mean,
yeah, it's like
I said, I don't know how long it takes to make a 60 FPS mode, but I'm like, is it more than 6 months? Which would push it to the end of the year? Is it 6 months? I don't know. Is it to do that?
I don't know. I'm not. I want to say no, but I'm not a game developer, so I don't know.
Right.
Like,
so yeah, I don't know. Maybe someone online has an idea of how long that would take, but I don't know. Maybe I'll have a look and see what some developers are. You know, maybe see what MVG, did he say anything? He would probably know.
But back to Zelda. Yeah, Zelda's great. I can't wait.
It looks really good. So I'm interested in the game, but again, I've got my sales hat on and I'm thinking about the sales. Now, Kike, I have seen people. I've seen some people say, I don't agree with these people. They're like, this game, it cannot sell. It's not going to sell anywhere near as much as Breath of the Wild. Your thoughts?
You know what would seriously depend?
Let me just say that Breath of the Wild is at around 30 million at the moment.
Maybe if the next console is backwards compatible, or maybe it improves it, maybe in the long term it can. But it's gonna sell more than 10 million, I can guarantee that.
It's gonna say well more than 10 million. This game is probably gonna end. It's probably gonna open at 15 million plus.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I think Breath of the Wild, even without going onto the next whatever system, it's gonna end up near 40 million. And the reason for that is that it's selling like 3-4 million a year. So how would it not end up at 3? It would end up close to 40 million. Even like we got the rest of this year. I mean, look now. We just looked at the Famitsu chart. Breath of the Wild. I guess we kind of glossed over this. Breath of the Wild is number 12. This game came out 6 years ago.
Yeah, and it's always like on MPD, like at the bottom. Like
it's always at MPD. It's at physical alone in Japan. It sold over 2 million. So
it's gonna, because the question is, like, will everybody who played Breath of the Wild gonna go back to Tears of the Kingdom? And I can say like more or like,
well, not everyone, and there'll be new people as well, because is this thing playing? There'll be new people because there's just so many more Switches available. There's just so many more in general, is what I mean.
Yeah, it'll sell, let me say, 20 plus.
Oh wait, there's some comments here. Sorry. Let's have a look and see what it's saying. Oh my god, Ganondorf amiibo, please. That's what I said. Ganondorf amiibo.
Oh yeah.
Why is there no Ganon? Everyone's excited about Ganondorf. Yeah, and me. What? I saw that picture they have Ganondorf. I'm like, come on, man. Why didn't you make an amiibo? What the hell? Oh, nah. People are just really. Some people are just really dumb, Jodie. What was you talking about? Being not trying to be mean. It's just being honest. Oh, what? When I was talking about people saying the DLC. Is it really that? Come on. I feel like a lot of those people got to be trolling. You can't seriously believe that. Dan Community Center says, I genuinely think they're taking his words at face value when he was discussing. When you say who? Who's he? Taking his words at face value when he was discussing Champion Ballad DLC, and they had more ideas that would break the fundamentals.
Oh yeah, they did say. Well, they did say that like the ideas that they had for the sequel were planned for DLC, but then they said, "Nah, let's just make a new game."
Okay, that's sure, but that doesn't mean that the game is DLC. It just means they had those ideas and it was too big for what it's too ambitious and they couldn't make it DLC because it was that big. They had to make a whole new game. So it doesn't mean that the game's DLC. It means that the idea came from what they was going to do with the DLC, but they couldn't feasibly do it as DLC.
Yeah.
Dank says Redfall PR marketing is at fault with showing Yeah, I do agree with that. Showing 6 FPS footage, knowing that the game is at 30. I do agree with you because I know like what they were showing with PC footage, but they already I agree with you. They already knew in advance this game is going to be launching on the Xbox at 30, and although the game is going to be available on Xbox and PC at launch, essentially it's from a PR point of view and an optics point of view, it's an Xbox game. People think of it as an Xbox game rather than a PC game.
Yeah.
And I feel like at that point the frame rate I think it does come into it because looking at that you would just assume, well, obviously it's gonna look, I'm not interested in Redfall. I saw the gameplay and stuff, and I assumed it was going to be sick. Why would I think it was not at 60? It's a shooter. It's a first-person shooter on an Xbox. How could it? Why would it not be on I should say on the Series X, which is their most powerful console? Why would it not be? It didn't even occur to me that they would launch it at 30. It didn't enter my head, but they did. And Dank says it does take work to make the FPS respond well to game mechanics. Okay, you would think the law of diminishing returns would force them to prioritize frame rates. At the end, Microsoft's management is poor. I agree with you. I think it's the management. I think it is the management. Okay, so it takes. Yeah, okay. I understand it takes time to kind of optimize and everything. Should they have delayed the game? I mean, if they had delayed the game, they wouldn't. When they delay the game, they don't say, "Oh, we're delaying it because we need to make this particular mechanic or thing or optimize the frame rate." They just say, "Oh, we need to polish up the game and do." They don't go into specifics. So if they did delay the game, they could have just said that. Just say, "Look, if we did launch the game at the original, our new planned release date, then it wouldn't be as polished and as finished as we wouldn't be as we wanted it. We want the game to be in the best. We want people to have the best possible player experience." They could have just come up with some PR speak like that for delaying the game. They could have done that. I don't think people would have gone crazy at a delay. Do you know what I actually think it is? Now that I'm thinking about it, Kika, I don't think people would have gone crazy at a delay. I think they did not want to delay the game, not just for PR, because if you think about it, like I said, when the Series X launched, it didn't launch with the promised Halo game that was supposed to be. I mean, that is Microsoft's biggest franchise, is Halo, and the new console was advertising. They had all these advertising campaigns built around it, and then it didn't launch with it. They even had a Master Chief on the box, on the box, the Series X boxes. It didn't launch with the game, and then they were willing to delay the game. Now, for a much more minor game than like your big Halo game, they are not willing to delay it. So to me, that tells me that they know there's going to be a PR fallout, but they feel that their bottom line, their sales, are going to be hampered by not releasing this game, because we've already seen a trend of the Xbox sales have gone down. We've got sales figures about this. We've seen what's happened in the UK, and this has also happened in the States with on the MPD. And Benji Sales was talking about this the other day on his live stream, that the sales are really down. I mean, if you think about it now, right, on the last, we saw the last, I know they've changed the name of the MPD, I don't know what they've called it now, they've under new management or something, but anyway, I'll just call it MPD, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Xbox is in like in third place, behind Switch. Switch is 7 years old. How is it behind the Switch? And the Switch hasn't had like, I know it's got Zelda coming out, but we're talking about from the sales from last month, when it was just was it just Kirby, or what came out last month? Oh no, it's not Kirby. Sorry, it was that Bayonetta spin-off.
Yeah.
So how is Xbox? Or is it called Circana? J2 Blue says they changed the name to Circana. Okay, but if I say Circana, nobody knows. I'm just gonna call it MPD, because if I say that, everyone knows what I'm talking about, right? But yes, technically it's a new company or new management or something, and they've changed the name. And that's why it seems now they're not sharing the, they did the per platform chart. They stopped sharing that, which I'm angry that they stopped doing that. Yeah, so we don't get the per platform chart anymore. Which is bad enough, because we don't even get numbers, we don't get, a whole load of data we don't get. But yeah, I don't feel like the Xbox should be third behind the Switch that didn't have any major games that month. And yeah, so I think Benji Sales knows about some, maybe he knows. I think he knows the actual NPD numbers, because he kept saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna leak it," which means he knows it, and it means he's seen it, and for him to be seen it and to be commenting on it, that means it's low. And I saw like his tweet, and we can, if I can find his tweet. Oh yeah, we're just gonna look at Japanese Twitter. Oh, I forgot to talk about the Sega. Okay, I completely forgot about the Sega thing. Remind me, Kike.
Oh yeah.
What he's like, oh yeah, the big Sonic fan. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Let me find Benji Sales. I'll show you what he said earlier. Well, he said a day or two ago. Oh yeah, Suicide Squad the game got delayed. Who's surprised at that? Hang on, what? I'm clicking the profile. Why is it not working? Oh, here we go. Okay, I'll just scroll down. He said. Where did he say it? It was here. Okay, this is what he said on the. So this was about 3 days ago, right? He said, "I have to be frank and honest. Xbox have a hardware sales problem on their hands currently. Xbox Series consoles had tremendous momentum coming out of 2021, and I was very bullish about their performance this gen, but things have slowed. Needs to really turn things around this year." And then he continues, doesn't mean I think Xbox can't turn things around, but there's some definite obvious factors to point to. And he's put out, this is like his points of things to do, right? I'm laughing because it's like, yeah, they should be doing this. It shouldn't need like a random person to tell them to do this, right? And it's like, this is what he's written: get quality first party games out. Studios are taking very long time. Greatly improve improve Series X shipments. Improve and increase marketing. Those 3 factors are the key. I mean, what I mean is those are obvious things they should be doing, right?
The only thing that might be out of their control is, so they can definitely work on shipments. They can definitely work on marketing. They can definitely do that.
They can get quality first party games out too. They can do that, Kike. Come on.
No, the thing that they can control is how long does a game take to make? Because
they're making the games. How can they not control that? They're making the games. Who's making it?
Listen, they can say,
it's
okay,
not mice on the moon making it. They're making it.
Because listen, something I know about game development is that things can go wrong very. Things can go wrong very quickly. So they can say, okay, we're gonna have a game each, like let's say every 6 months we're gonna have a great AAA game, and then the studios come back to them and they say it's not ready. And they're like, what do you mean it's not ready? It's not ready. We need more time.
You guys are muted. King, I understand that delays and everything happen, right? But this isn't like it's just happened now with just this one game. It's happened with multiple games over multiple years, like a long time. To the point that Benji Sales is saying, if Benji Sales is saying something, then you know it's bad because he doesn't like saying negative stuff generally. And this is like kind of it's kind of. Yeah, he's just been it's a constructive criticism. It's a constructive criticism, but in general he likes to be quite positive and upbeat. And I think if he's saying this, then it's an actual real issue.
What they can do is they can try to do more smaller games, like.
When they did that, they had Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, and everybody loved it. So more smaller games. So.
I think it's not enough though. I think they can do that, and it can be a really good game. Hi-Fi Rush was very well received. It got good reviews and everything. I think it's just like it's not the main course. You can have very good games like that, but I feel like it's not the main thing people want.
Yeah, but at this point they need games. Like something is better than nothing. So
right, which goes to my point, which is why I think Redfall is launching at 30 frames, because they could have delayed it to get the 60 ready, but then that probably would have put months on the release. Yeah,
and then the other solution, quote unquote, is to just buy other people's games.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're buying a whole publisher. That's what they're doing. Yeah. And it's like, we do have games because we bought an entire in fact the biggest third-party publisher, which is Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, so I think that's what they're doing. They're hoping and praying they can get Activision so that they can be like,
oh, they will. They'll get them. They will. I think at this point they will. It's all going to go through now. And much to Jim Ryan's chagrin.
Yeah, but they want it sooner rather than come on.
Yeah, because if they had it now, they'd be like, oh no, wait, Diablo 4, look, we have a game.
Yeah. So.
Because one thing I want to say here is that underneath Benji Sales' tweet that I noticed, we had a reply from Jess Corden, who's a writer at Windows Central. So he said a couple of things that were interesting. So one thing he said was probably waiting to meet demand on Starfield. When I read that, I was like, wait, what the hell? Hang on, what are you talking? I was like, that game is not out until like September. It's later this year, like September or something. I'm like, what? You tell me that right now they're holding back consoles and not. And Benji Sales isn't talking about just right now. So this has been going on for months about there not being enough Series X's out. And he commented on a couple of other things as well. It wasn't just the number of Series X's. It's like, what, they would really be holding back the consoles from now all the way to then?
If they knew that they weren't, because I don't know how far in advance like manufacturing is made, because I know they have to do it in advance.
Right, pretty far in advance, because if you remember, even just a recent example, the Zelda OLED leaked over a month ago or something, and it's being released like at the end of this month. So they have to they manufacture these way in advance, and they just sit on them. They're just in warehouses somewhere. But then the workers who are making and distributing them, these things once it gets to the factory level like that, there's so many. It's hundreds or maybe even thousands of people involved in making and distributing and all these. So the more people you get involved, the more likely it's going to get leaked.
Yeah. So
they make them months in advance and sit on them. So for that, and then Benji Sales replied, well, let's hope, because they're currently being outsold monthly 2-1 in their strongest markets. And Benji Sales did say this on his live stream as well. The strongest markets has been the US and the UK. And he's saying like this 2-1, so he knows. He's seen the NPD numbers. He actually knows. I think he knows it is 2-1 with the sales. And so this is what Jess Corden said. Yeah, ultimately, no idea. I suspect a lot of hardware is going into the xCloud server racks. So what he's saying is, well, you know, they have get the Xbox streaming, the cloud streaming. So what they do is that the servers are made up of like the Series X's, like the boards. They put them in there. So instead of making them, and I think they've made them. I think that's why the Xbox is like that cube shape. So they can easily, it's like modular, so they can put it into these server racks, right? So what he's saying is instead of putting them, you know, for them, more of them to be like actual retail units, they're putting them into these server racks, right? And when I read what Jess said then, I'm like, I was even thinking, is that really a good idea? So Benji Sales says, my personal opinion, and I'm 100% willing to admit I could be wrong, if that's what they're doing is a mistake, I'd focus on building hardware install base first, then increase cloud capacity slowly over time. Traditional methods are still more important than cloud for now. And Jess Corden answers to that. There's an angle here not many people consider, and it's that Xbox Cloud Blades are used for Azure processing and AI when not in use for Xbox. The redundancy opportunity likely makes them more valuable than we'd traditionally expect. And Benji's just like, oh, that's interesting. I had no idea. So yeah, so he's saying that when they're not being used for the cloud streaming, they're being used for these other processing for the other cloud services. Even if that's true, it still means that you have the supply of Xboxes suffering for that. And don't forget, this is just Gordon's. He's just said he said I suspect. It's not something he knows. He says he suspects that they're putting them, instead of shipping them out into retail units, they're putting them in these server racks.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, yeah, they can still turn it around. I mean, there are times consoles have had a rocky like period, and then they came back. So
yeah. So I think if so, even though Redfall's launching at 30 frames, if it launches and it's good and it's well received, that obviously could help turn things around. And same thing with Starfield. I mean, then Starfield is like another few months. It's only a few months away, really, right? September. So if that's launched, that's well received and everything, then that could turn things around. But when it comes to the actual this hardware thing, I don't know about that. Because it could be that they really are doing this thing where they're putting them into these server racks. If that's what they're doing, then that's what they're doing, and they just won't be enough Xboxes. It's just because they've made a decision. This is what we're doing with them. In that case, then the situation's not going to change because they've made a business decision to do that. Now, is that the right decision? I mean, from a point of view of like gaming, I think. I kind of more agree with Benji Sales. Even if they are using it for this other class, they don't have to use the Xboxes. Or they need to just increase manufacturing there and increase it so they can both have retail units and have them for the server racks. They have the money to do that. They're spending 70 billion on goddamn Activision. How would they not have the money to increase manufacturing capacity so they have enough for retail and for the cloud servers? So to me, it's things like that doesn't make. If you're talking about some other company, I'm like, why? Like, it's Microsoft. They have more than enough money. They have more than. I know they don't have like it's not infinite money, and they have to make certain business decisions. But good lord, like I don't know if they're spending their money or doing things in necessarily the best way. And now Now apparently the comments here are maybe a bit spicy with the. I think the Xbox people came for Benji, but he said he didn't see them because he's got filters on and stuff like that. So I think they were coming for him because he said that. But I feel like what he said was constructive criticism. He wasn't like saying, "Oh, Xbox sucks" or anything. He's just saying, "Look, there's a problem with the hardware. They're being outsold 2-1." And he said like this is the things I think they should do. But yeah, apparently people didn't like that he said that. So I thought that was a very interesting tweet.
Yeah, trying to see. Guess we should move on to the Sega thing because I do want to talk about it and I don't have that much time left.
Sure, no problem. Okay, let's get the Sega. Oh my god, it looks like I'm not organised. I am organised. Stop it. No, I don't want that one. I don't want that one. Where's the link you sent me? Oh my god, don't play that because when it plays things, it uses that bandwidth. Oh my god, stop playing! Stop it! In fact, let me close this window down. Okay. Okay. So I'll play this. Now, the original leak of this was not this account. It was a completely different account. That account is either deleted or deactivated, or it's just not there. It just says it's gone. This is a re-upload from someone else, not the person who originally posted it. So this is a 26-second clip with what looks like a Persona 3 remake, Sonic Frontiers unused. It's got music on it. Oh god! Hang on, how do I turn this down? Okay, turn it down. Okay, so there's now Kika, you can comment on this. Apparently, this is an unused boss from Sonic Frontiers, and then there's at the end there's like this what looks like a Jet Set Radio remake or new game, or I don't even know.
Yeah, so basically when this rumor came out, basically it's Persona 3 remake, the version of Sonic Frontiers as of 2021, and then Jet Set Radio, a new Jet Set Radio. So the story goes, it hasn't been confirmed or anything. We may never know. That this is from like an internal like meeting from Sega at 2021 where they were just
like testing sort of the stuff.
Yeah, like a check in progress, like how are the games going?
It's a presentation.
So, yeah.
Internal.
So basically, so basically all of this is in work in progress. For Sonic Frontiers, it is basically Okay, let me see how I can describe this without.
I don't know how much of this I should show on the screen, to be honest. But yeah, go on. You can carry on, Kika. I'm gonna take a quick break. I need to go to the loo and turn the light on. So you carry on. 1 second.
Yeah. Okay, I can describe the Sonic Frontiers. So basically, what happened is that what we're seeing of Sonic Frontiers is the beta version or the early version of the first island, which at this point everybody knows in the Sonic community was basically a big island that got split in 3 in the final game. So basically, this footage we're seeing right now is when the island was whole, when it was one big island. The boss we're seeing is a variation of a boss that is in the game, but it doesn't do what it's in the footage. So basically, in the final game, it's basically like a rail boss. Like you grind on rails, and basically you collect some orbs to damage it. And in this one, it's moving around, and you basically have to damage it regularly. We also get like a early version of the first Titan boss, which is almost exactly the same, except the arena is different and the effects are more detailed, which is its own discussion. But basically, the leak has that. It has Persona 3 and it has Jet Set Radio. Persona 3 and Jet Set Radio have been leaked or reported on before this ever came out. Basically, their outlets have said there is a Persona 3 remake and there is a Jet Set Radio game in development. So basically, this is basically like confirming that these exist, or rather, like quote unquote room. So here's the thing. So there are people saying like this, like there are leaks and rumors are getting more complicated to fake. Like while we do get like the simple leaks, quote unquote, of like a text or like an image, there's sometimes we do get one of those leaks that's like a video, professionally made video to look like a real game, or like a professionally made poster.
I'm back now.
Yeah. So I basically explained what the Sonic footage was like.
Yeah. Oh, so was you talking about the boss battle?
Yeah. So there is that boss is still in the game, but it does not do that.
Oh, okay. So this is actually in the game. It just doesn't do what it's doing here.
Yeah. So basically, we basically know that the first island in Sonic Frontiers originally was a big island, and in the final game it got split into 3. So this is basically like footage of that when that island was a big island, and we have had data mines and previous leaks that have been confirmed to be true. Basically, everything lines up to like at least the Sonic part is like everybody in the Sonic community agrees that that part is true. Like there's no, if somebody were to fake that, like there's no
earlier footage from an earlier stage in the game. Then they decided to change stuff after.
Yeah. So basically, everybody agrees that the Sonic footage is real.
Okay, so the Sonic footage is real, but there's 2 other things on here. That is
which is basically when I went to Twitter, it was basically 2 camps. My Sonic fans talking about the Sonic footage, and everybody else talking about Persona 3 and Get Set Radio confirmed. Or not.
Confirmed. Well, now my first thought, because when did this first leaked? It leaked with just the Persona footage. We didn't see the whole full thing until like a day later or something, right? So when I first saw it, I'm like, okay, this could be a fan-made thing, and they could have used there's like the models. There's HD models of these Persona 3 characters in the Persona dancing games. They could have used that. Now, I commented on an Atlas content creator called David Cast JRPGs, right? I commented on his video saying, oh, maybe it's the models from the Persona 3 from the dancing game. He said, no, it's not. He reckons it's not. You know, I haven't played those dancing games, so I've seen footage of it, and it looks like this. But I guess like the clothes she's got on, I'm like, modders can do that. Okay. So it's a lot of effort. It would be a lot of effort to fake something like this, but I don't think it's impossible. Now the argument for being real, well, there was well, I know in our Discord we had Jago who said, the account's been taken, the account's gone and everything, but the footage is still freely available, and like the YouTubers shared it in their videos and stuff like that. They were not copyright striked or DMCA'd by Sega. Nobody's been DMCA'd because of this footage. And if that had happened, it's like 100% it's real. There's just no ifs and buts about it. If that happens, because it's happened with other footage and things before in the past, when it happens, it's real 100%. But that hasn't happened. That doesn't mean it's not real. I'm just kind of surprised that they haven't done that.
Yeah, that's weird. Or maybe no, I don't think Sega's like that, because I don't think. Because I was thinking maybe they don't want to take it down because they don't want to confirm it, but I'm like, I don't think Sega's like that.
It's a legal matter at that point. That they have like they have responsibilities, especially to their investors, to protect the investment and to enforce the copyright of content that they own. So it's like it's like oh no, we just let that go. It's like it's a legal matter at that point.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean this isn't real. But they haven't taken it down anywhere. From I know people have used it in there because I've seen those YouTube videos. There were some
Yeah,
people who
even
didn't want to use the footage in case they were struck, but nobody was struck. Like I was talking about David Castro JRPGs, he showed the footage in his video. I'm pretty sure he did.
Mm-hmm.
I know OJ from Player Essence did, so I watched the video.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of big YouTube channels.
I think Spawncast did. I can't remember if he did or not. But a lot of them showed it. Nothing happened.
Yeah, and at the very least, use the persona character as a thumbnail.
I think if you have a no, sometimes they do strike you for that as well. Actually, they do strike you for the stills. But I think you're less likely to be when it comes to like the content creators and the videos. They're always cautious about the actual video because I think it triggers like it can trigger like automated copyright things and all this.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing's happened, and we see in the footage. No, I mean actually, to point out this character they're showing. This isn't the female protagonist from Persona 3.
No,
it's Yukari. It's not. This is not the main character. This is one of the party members.
Yeah.
They're showing, which is interesting. They're not showing that it's not that. It doesn't mean they don't have it, but that's what they chose to put in this clip anyway. So yeah, I think I'm gonna take your words for it about the Sonic footage because I'm not familiar with what you're talking about in this boss that you're saying it's doing a different. Are you saying essentially saying it's doing a different a pattern than what it does in the final game?
The final game, how you fight him is that he summons ground rails, and you have to ride the ground rails to collect some orbs, which are the orbs that you see in the footage. But you collect those orbs to damage him. You don't walk around. You're in ground rails the whole fight.
Okay, so when you're going around this boss, there's these rails.
Yeah.
And essentially, because they're not showing that in this footage, I don't see any rails. It's just there. It's just a thing.
Yeah, and also
it's a bit
the supersonic. Yeah, the supersonic fight is in a different. So the supersonic fight, we do have that same boss and it's the same pattern, but it's a different arena, and the effects are more detailed, which people are now blaming the Switch for that we never got a the game got downgraded. I don't know about that,
that's not how game development works.
Yeah, so basically, it's so. If this is fake, I'd be very impressed that they fake 3 different franchises with it will be a very
It'd be a lot of work. It's not impossible because we've seen things like this before where people go to. You think nobody's going to go to the office and do that and there have been things like that in the past that have been faked.
Yeah, but to nail the Sonic details and to nail the Persona details, that's.
What does it know about the Persona details? It's just Yukari with her persona. I mean, it's not.
Apparently, so I digged into it. They said that apparently this demon is only weak to a certain type of attack, which is the attack that Yukari does, which is why, I went down a rabbit hole about why Persona fans are like, no, I think this is real. Oh, yeah, I don't know where the thread is, but there's, Persona fans saying, no, this is still... Because people were saying, why isn't she using, her gun thing to summon her Persona?
Unless it's something else. Here's the thing, no, I'm glad you got those extra details. Was one thing, another angle that I would like to bring into it is that this is, let's say it's real. We can assume we can go from the point of view that it's real, right? We can just say for argument that it's real because, like you said, there's a lot of details in there, and it would have been a lot of effort, which is not impossible. It's not impossible that someone could have done that. It's not impossible, but it makes it more unlikely.
Yeah.
Now, let's say that it is real. This is like almost like test footage or stuff they were showing internally. It doesn't mean that this stuff is all going to be this is the game and we are definitely 100% making this. That's the other thing. People need to bear in mind. It doesn't mean just because they were planning to do something too. Now, the claim is that this is from 2021, by the way. So the claim is that this footage is from 2021. It doesn't mean that yes, they're going to release a game and it's going to look like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff is they test stuff and they do different things and it never comes to fruition.
Yeah, like I said, I just described like the Sonic things like that. Most of it is not in the game, like, or it is heavily changed or not in the game, from what we saw. But we know it existed. Like the director has said stuff, and we data mine some stuff to know that it like we know. So
okay.
Before I leave,
You're leaning on it being real.
Yeah. I'll say that I do think the Persona 3 remake and the Jet Set Radio game exist. I don't know if they'll look like this. Like I'm still 50-50 whether or not the footage we saw is real.
Yeah.
But I do think we will get a remake of Persona 3 and Jet Set Radio in the not the near future, but in the future, because there have been reports of those games before this leak.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. That's the thing we should also say. If this had come out of the blue, I'd be more inclined to believe it. But because there's things that have been rumored for years at this point. They've been rumored for so long. That's when doubts start creeping in. You're like, okay, but this rumor started so long ago that if someone wanted to hoax something, they'd have to have time to do that. You know. Yeah. So if it had just come out of the blue and we just saw this footage and there'd been no rumors, then you're like, okay, yeah, this is probably. It would make me lean more, but it's been rumored for a very, very long time, and it wouldn't surprise me because that would be such an Atlas thing to do, to release a goddamn a port of a Persona 3 portable, which people weren't happy with that port, by the way. They were saying the music was compressed and stuff like this, right? They weren't happy with it. To release that at the same time, they knowing they're making a remake of the game at the same time. They know that, and they know they're going to be releasing that. And I've seen people comment saying, "Oh, I didn't buy Persona 3 Portable because I heard that they're making this remake." So there's some people that feel like it'd be a waste of their time to play a P3P when they've got this one coming, which we don't know we don't know for 100% they are making. Well, we don't know they're going to release this, because sometimes, like I said, they can plan to do things and then it doesn't happen, even if this is real. Yeah, especially
if they were canceled at some point, we would know about it.
Stuff in studios is planned and cancelled in time before we even hear about it. But this was at least at the we've got proof of concept phase, right? This was at least at that phase, because that's what this is. It's like a proof of concept type thing. So, like I said, one of the things that makes me lean to it being real is because this is just such an Atlas move. They just do nonsense like this all the time.
Like when they did Catering Full Body, and then for the PC they did Catering Classic. And
like that! Exactly like that! And to this day they've never released Full Body on PC, am I right?
Yeah.
And how does that make any sense?
They made a Switch port, but that's it.
Yes! This is what I mean, and so they still haven't released that. And they probably never will.
Because it's Atlas, and
because it's Atlas, and they just do stupidness like that. So
the only way they're gonna port it is if Daddy Sega tells them to. That's the only.
Even then, I think that the reason is that like they probably think they're just not gonna get any sales from it. Is the only thing I can think of, that they've like, okay, well, we could port that, but this one's been available for years, so. Anyway, that's just me speculating. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it's just Atlas being Atlas, to be honest with you.
No, yeah, I can definitely believe Atlas, but the Sega I know will port anything and everything. So, like, if something can play a video game, they will port Sonic the Hedgehog 1 at no matter what. So,
right.
So, yeah. we'll see. They keep saying, because I think the whole thing started. The whole thing started was because Persona is doing a concert, and the original, like the original account said, I hope they announce the Persona 3 remake.
Well, they didn't, right, because they had that concert last year, and this is another Atlas move they pulled last year. People know at those concerts they normally announce new games, right? People know that,
Yes.
but that's why one of the reasons why they get, especially if they, most people can't attend in person, right? People get excited about those concerts because they announce new games. They announced this concert, and then they waited till like it was like within weeks. It's like maybe a month before, after they had already sold the tickets, because they sold the tickets not only for the in-person concert, but they sold like digital streaming tickets. They sold us tickets,
Yes.
and then they announced, "Oh, there will be no game announcements at this concert." After they had already sold the goddamn tickets. This is what this is like. This is what they do. They do stuff like that. So you know, I was like, oh my god, good lord. This is the reason why people get so frustrated with them is because their games are so good. Their games are so goddamn good, but their management's so bad. I'm losing my voice over it now. This management is just so bad. I can't get over how badly, like, good lord. I mean, you know, maybe not Microsoft Studio management level bad, because they at least get games out, but like just weirdo decisions. Like,
I was gonna say Sega's management is also not the most perfect.
That's why I said they're made for each other. That's why I said they're made for each other. Because it's been, I don't think they acquired them in like 2013 and then just get them the other day. It's been like a decade. So
yeah. So yeah, well, we will see. I don't know. I don't think we'll hear about the Persona 3 remake in this concert. I think they'll.
Well, when is this? There's no concert. Oh, no, hang on. Is there a concert scheduled?
I think the whole thing was because there's a concert coming up.
But that concert coming up is an SMT concert, and it's in the States. So they're not going to announce any. They're not going to announce a Persona remake and an SMT concert in the States.
I mean, they can always pull the card of.
No, they wouldn't do that because it's a well, one is SMT. It's not a Persona concert, and two, it's in the States.
No, they can pull the card. They can pull the card. Well, Persona is an SMT franchise, so we can. I mean,
it is, but they've kind of like separated them out now. The J2 Blues fighting Atlas bad decisions hand in hand. Sega bad business decisions. Yeah, it is. It's exactly like that. Yeah. J2 Blue. I think that's why they're quite. I've said this multiple times, but Atlas is a company that went back. They went bankrupt and insolvent multiple times. It's not even like one time. It's like multiple times. And I think when their parent company went bankrupt or whatever, I think they were like almost like sold off in like an auction. It's not like there was like some in-demand company that a whole load of people wanted. I think they went at an auction, and then Sega got them. And I'm sure somebody could correct me if I'm wrong. It's just what I've heard, that they were part of the dismantling of the previous company, and they were sold off like that.
I'm gonna post it on the Discord.
What's that?
I found it. There is one this year. I hope there is one.
Oh, there's a Persona concert?
It is a rerun of last year's concert, so.
Wait, what? What do you mean a rerun? Like they're doing another live performance of the same concert? Is that what you mean?
Due to its popularity last year, the event will be held once more in Osaka from March 11th to May 7th.
From March until May?
It's like a festival.
It's a festival. It's not. It's okay. And then they're going to be. So obviously the concert's not going on for that long. It's like one day or a couple of days when they're doing this concert.
Yeah, but they did do one of those days they did the concert. But we'll see.
They must have already had it by now, no? But even if they are, they're not going to announce anything new at that concert.
No,
like now.
If they're doing like a rerun of last year, then no, probably not. But yeah.
I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it that it's even going to come. It'll be later in the year. It'll be like around Tokyo Game Show.
Maybe. Sega's weird. Okay. Okay, I'll need to leave now. Hopefully we don't wait 10 years for the next Persona game. I already got my Sonic game, so I'm good.
You just wait. Oh, actually, you don't have to wait that long. They've got DLC coming soon, right? For that game.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. The DLC's good.
Oh, is it already out?
Well, part one, the 3 parts. Part one is out. Part two, they didn't say a date, but it's labeled as Sonic's birthday, so we're kind of already know when it's gonna come out.
Wait, Sonic has a birthday. Okay, yeah, I guess he does have a birthday. When's his birthday?
It's they always put it at the day of the first game, so June 23rd.
That makes me wonder. Do other characters have birthday? Does Mario have a birthday? Is there a canon birthday for Mario?
I don't know if there's a canon birthday, but Sega made his game birthday the same day as his actual birthday, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's a fun little like meta thing they did. Yeah.
And when is that?
June 23rd.
June 23rd.
Yeah,
okay.
They always like to do something.
Oh,
so
right,
that's
okay.
what we're hoping.
Okay.
And then the final part is end of the year.
Okay, got ya. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's cool.
Yep.
Alright, thank you for joining me, Kike.
No worries, thank you so much. See you later, bye.
Bye. Okay, let's just finish up now. They're putting in Spin Dash. What they put into Sonic Frontiers? Well, there was no Spin Dash in it? I would have thought that'd be a thing they'd put in there. Okay, let's finish up with. So we actually got through all the topics this week. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Okay, let's finish up with. Let's put our lo-fi back on. Do a nice chill vibe to finish with. And this is Final Fantasy VII lo-fi remix by Rifty Beats. It's pretty good. Okay, can people hear that? Let me know if you can hear it. In decent time. I know! It's not a 4-hour show. In decent time. Oh no, it's not decent time! It's 3.5 hours live! Too long, I've gone too long. Okay, whilst I finish, let's finish up with... Let's see what Japanese Twitter's saying. That's what I was gonna do. Did I have this on here? Hang on. Okay, so let's see what let's go up to date. Let's see what they're saying, because that was one of the things you asked me was how's the hype for Final Fantasy. So look, you see, I told you the person who's tweeting the most about Final Fantasy 16 in Japan is Genki. That's basically it. There's more tweets coming from him than anyone else. So let's see, and we are using Google Translate, right? I don't care. I can't read this. I'm learning Japanese, but I'm not that proficient. Okay. You may not want to see Twitter for 2 weeks after Final Fantasy 16 release. Why is that? Because of spoilers? I can tell you which ones to Okay, someone's saying they're going to check it out. I ignore ones like this. I kind of ignore. But you can. Let's see what it says. Final Fantasy 16 is a very extravagant creation, a design which reduces the various symbolizations that have existed since the beginning of RPGs to match the overwhelming visuals. Feels like the cutting-edge evolution of as a story game since 7. I'm still reserving judgment until the trial version. I mean demo. It was translated like that, but I'll probably buy it. Okay. So that person seems quite positive. So this one. Final Fantasy 16 has a good reputation, so it should sell well and be safe, but I'll let my sister judge it or not. You know, people who have only played Final Fantasy open the door to other games they realise were better. When I was playing... Is that Battlefield? It was BF1. Battlefield? Battlefield 1? I was moved. It's also a result of trying different genres. I'll just ignore that one. Ignore that one. See, I told you, look. Genki again. I mean, he's tweeting about Final Fantasy 16 more than anything. There's just so many. If I try to sell it to young people today, I wonder if it won't change. So some of these like translations get garbled. Like, I'm not even really sure what that means. Someone talking about the video. I think this person said it looks interesting. Sounds interesting as a game. Final Fantasy 16. Looking forward to it, I think. I'm suddenly looking forward to it. This one. While my motivation for work is high, I have to learn as much as I can and build my skills. With the release of Final Fantasy 16 and the increasing drinking from now on, I am afraid that work will become a lot of trouble if the awareness that I'm suitable for work has taken to play. Now, these translations are garbled, but this person's saying they want to drink and play it, not work. I mean, you know, I feel that. So, it's coming soon. Coming soon. They want, I think this person, I want it. I even want a PS5 just to play Final Fantasy 16. It's not limited to Final Fantasy 16, but in action games, the effects are too... Can you hear me? I don't even know, man. Hang on, I don't know if that music's loud, too loud. Let me check, I don't know. I never see his tweets either. I don't see his tweets anymore. Unless I look at that For You thing, his tweets just don't come up for me anymore. Yeah, it's just the way Twitter is nowadays. It's not limited to Final Fantasy 16, but in action games, the effects are too flashy, and it's easy to lose sight of your character, which is really bad and disgusting. But do other people have no problems? So yeah, so you take these translations with a pinch of salt. Okay, this is like she's like a well-known streamer, whatever. I think she's a streamer. So I'm excited for Final Fantasy 16. Okay, so you see this. Actually, I want to get that right. So you see this. Do you know what this is? This is how they're abbreviating Tears of the Kingdom. Tearkin. I want half a year between Tearkin, I mean Tears of the Kingdom. Between Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy 16. I'm just talking about it there. What on earth this is. We can ignore that one. Yeah, some people like the music. Like the battle music. Now, when I looked at the tweets, more people were honestly, a lot more people seem to be talking about the actual song, about this Kenshi Yonezu. More people were talking about that than the game. When I looked last night, when I saw the video of Final Fantasy 16, I felt a sense of incongruity as it became more beautiful, such as the flashy flame effects and the realistic grass not burning and the realistic grass not burning next to the enemies. I can't say anything about the action elements until I actually touch them, but as far as I can see the video, I personally don't see any interesting elements. So this person is not sold on, and they pointed out the realistic grass not being burnt by burning enemies, which is a point, which is a good point. I think we're going to buy a PS5. Buy a PS5 Final Fantasy 16. Yeah, they're just saying it looks... They're looking forward to it, I think. excited for Final Fantasy 16. Oh yeah, so sometimes people say TOTK, but I've noticed they've been saying Tearkin. I saw the 4-minute trailer for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom yesterday and I said, wow, hurry up and play Zelda. Today, I saw the 20-minute gameplay for Final Fantasy 16 and said Final Fantasy 16 was amazing and it was fun. So that person is looking forward to both games there. Won't the dog in Final Fantasy 16 suffer a terrible blow? I can't help but worry. Will the dog finish safely? Are you okay? When they have a wolf as their profile picture, so I guess they're concerned about wolf dogs. So let's just look at one more here. While watching the Final Fantasy 16 video, I thought it would be interesting, but I knew it was going to be a fun game, so I decided to look forward to the video of the commentator. I haven't even opened Final Fantasy 7 Remake yet. Dragon Quest 10, and I'm the only one I'm working hard on, ends with fishing and fields everything. They're just talking about all sorts of different games. So let's look for Tears of the Kingdom. I think most people are saying this Tearkin, so let's have a look. What's this up? What do you call these things again? There's like what's it called again? I think it's like a split pad pro. I don't have one of those. With less than a month to release, there are quite a few spoilers about Tears of the Kingdom in the timeline due to promotions and stuff. Because this person's construct, but there's the leaks, but I guess they're talking about the promotional stuff. Tearkin, yes, I told you this is an abbreviation they're using. Sounds like fun. Kumana-chan is also excited. I don't know who that is. Maybe it's their friend or something. Oh no, it's the person they replied to. And this has a lot of exclamation marks in it. What the hell? What is this? I saw Tears of the Kingdom. Exciting! How cute is Zelda's Bob? Cute girl and cute Shota got high. I'm looking forward to it. I want to hurry up and clear the... As another abbreviation they use. Beware why, which is Breath of the Wild. So they haven't even finished Breath of the Wild. I'll tell you what, I haven't done the DLC, so I should probably go and do that. They're like looking forward to it. Tearkin Festival is fun. Festival? Dude, some of these translations make no sense. Are you even interested in this? I don't even know if anyone's even here. Well, we're gonna finish soon. What's this? That's what you look like when you're getting excited for the games. Should I buy a micro SD card to put in the that means OLED soon for Tears of the Kingdom? Is 256 gigs enough? Fine. Well, they're gonna collector's edition. Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition has been restocked and I was able to make a reservation resale room. What the resale room bit means, but I pre-ordered it. There's something to do with buying the... Once Tears of the Kingdom is released, go down to the river by the East Reservoir to Lake Hyrule in your own boat. What? I don't even know what that means. That's a little cryptic. Yeah, they just talk about the law and stuff like that. So it's sometimes interesting to see what people are saying. But in terms about the question that I had on the Discord about the excitement, there's definitely excitement there for both games. From what I can tell. Now, in terms of sales, which is the thing that I like to talk about, well, it's hard to talk about sales, except for obviously I have the bet with Kike. That Kike thinks it's going to sell that. that Final Fantasy 16 is going to open at less than 100,000 physical in Japan. I do not think that. That's why I'm betting against him, is he's going to lose his install base packs. But apart from that, can't really compare them in sales, because the sales are just like, I don't think it's like, it's not really a good comparison to make, because Tears of the Kingdom is just going to sell so many more, just because there's just so many more Switches and stuff. So in terms of sales, you can't really compare them. So what I've been doing is compare. The best comparison to make is to their predecessors, the previous game. So that's what I've been doing, and then looking at the pre-orders and stuff like that. Oh, my mouse is stuck. Okay. Well, we're gonna finish up now. I don't think anyone's even watching. I don't know. Well, we're gonna finish up with this nice lo-fi. Well, hang on, let's stop playing. We play. So I want to say thank you to everyone that joins me today, everyone that was able to make it out to the stream. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the people that also came out to the pre-show. The pre-show, which is held in our Discord every week. When I'm preparing the show and I'm getting like different links and stuff, I decided to basically just like share screen to share screen in the Discord, because I'm sitting there doing it anyway, and like it's just a good opportunity to chat to people. So people come in there and it's just like they come in and listen. Like I'm not like, it's not like a two-way conversation. So I'm really happy that some people were able to make it in, because I wasn't feeling well earlier today and I wasn't 100% sure if I was even going to be able to do the show, because I had to go out to go and get my prescription medication, which I had run out of, because the pharmacy, they didn't deliver my stuff, and they didn't get the stuff. So I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but like the people that came out really motivated me, and I felt more energized. So thank you so much to everyone that came out to the pre-show. I'm going to get a link for the Discord, and I'm going to drop it into the chat. So if you do ever want to come out to the pre-show, here's a link to our Discord. And yeah, so thanks everyone for joining me for that pre-show. That was I'd say it was motivational, so thanks a lot. Thank you to Keycare, thank you to Vinnie Mac, and thank you to was it the only people that joined me? It was just Vinnie Mac and Keycare today, wasn't it? I think. I feel like it was. I can't even remember. But yeah, thank you for joining. I really like, the part that I enjoy the most is being able to talk with people, and so I really enjoyed that part of the show. And yeah, great week this week. Soon at one point I will do that tier list that everyone's been asking for, but I need to gather the sales data, because it's not just going to be an arbitrary list of what I think. We're gonna base it on actual sales. So we're gonna do that, and I'll prepare that during a slow news week. Okay, not a week where we have both Final Fantasy 16 State of Play and a trailer for Tears of the Kingdom. Two big games. We're not gonna do it in a week where we have something like that. We're gonna do it in a week where we have like next to nothing. Okay, but I will start preparing it. It's a great idea, and it'd be pretty fun to do that. Okay.